Now, the greatest radio shows of all time.
Suspense.
The Shadow Node.
Washington calling David Harding, counter-spy.
Classic radio theater.
The Great Gildersleeve.
Fibber McGee and Molly.
Dragnet. Gunsmoke.
The Lone Ranger.
Now, step back into a time machine with your host, Wyatt Cox.
Good evening, friends of the Inner Sanctum.
A Comedy Monday with Bob Hope, Jack Benny, A Day in the Life of Dennis Day, Fibber McGee and Molly, Two Shots from 46 and 54, and Lum and Abner. That's all coming up. Before we get started here, I want to thank our friend Robert for going to classicradio.stream and using the Buy Me a Coffee function. Your Buy Me a Coffee donations will go very far here. Thank you so much, Robert, for that donation. And thank you for tuning in on this Monday, 12th day of February, 43rd day of the year, and we have 323 days remaining until we get to 2025. Women gained the right to vote in Utah Territory on this date in 1870. In 1879, at Madison Square Garden in New York, the first artificial ice rink in North America opened. In 1892, President Abraham Lincoln's birthday declared a national holiday in the United States.
We are sometimes forced by an adversary to back our beliefs with steel, just as Lincoln did. And we must stick it out, just as Lincoln did. For we live in a time that Lincoln would have well understood. He heard the charges that the war was long and wrong. He saw Americans die, 600,000 of them, and he brooded. He saw dissent and riot and rebellion. He saw heavy taxes and inflation. He saw hunger and poverty, sad but steady. Always convinced of his cause, Lincoln stuck it out. Sad but steady, so will we.
President Johnson at a 1968 ceremony celebrating Lincoln's 159th birthday. Legislation brought the national observance to the holiday to an end in 1971 as it was combined with Washington's birthday. It is now colloquially referred to as President's Day, although it's still named Washington's birthday. In 1909, the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People founded, NAACP. In 1914, in Washington, the first stone of the Lincoln Memorial put into place on this date. In 1924, the premiere of George Gershwin's Rhapsody in Blue with Paul Whiteman's Palais Royal Orchestra in Aeolian Hall in New York City. In 1924, Calvin Coolidge became the first president to deliver a political speech on radio. In 1962, Francis Gary Powers returned to the U.S. in exchange for Soviet spy Colonel Rudolph Abel. The following audio from Powers' trial in Moscow when he was questioned about being shot down over the Soviet Union.
It was at that altitude, was it not, 68,000 feet, that you were struck down by a Soviet rocket?
It was at that altitude I was struck down by something.
You said you were struck down by something?
Yes, I have no idea what it was. I didn't see it.
Being very factual there, Francis Gary Powers on this return to the U.S. on this date in 1962. The first U.S. prisoners of war released by the Viet Cong on this date in 1973. In 1998, the presidential line item veto, a very reasonable measure that should be given to the president, declared unconstitutional by U.S. federal judges, and it would eventually be struck down by the Supreme Court as well. In 1999, President Clinton acquitted by the Senate in his impeachment trial. In 2007, the trial of former president of Federal Republic of Yugoslavia, Slobodan Milosevic, began at the United Nations War Crimes Tribunal in The Hague. Jim Landale, a spokesman for the court.
They will have to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that Mr. Milosevic is responsible for the crimes with which he has been charged. Mr. Milosevic doesn't have to prove his innocence. It's also worth stressing, I think, that Mr. Milosevic as an individual is on trial here, not the Serbian people, not the Serbian nation.
Milosevic would eventually die before the trial's conclusion. In 2002, Secretary of Energy made the decision that Yucca Mountain in Nevada, suitable to be the United States nuclear repository, it has been fought in the state of Nevada for years now. And it's still a thing that it's being fought. And I don't know. Well, what should be happening is that nuclear waste, there should be a way that the state can take that nuclear waste and redevelop it and, recycle it. I mean, recycling is the big thing, right? In 2004, Mattel announced the split of Barbie and Ken. Russell Aarons, Mattel's vice president of Barbie marketing, said both dolls will still be available separately, but no longer marketed as a couple.
Ken and Barbie have been together 43 years, and unfortunately the time has come, the flame has burned out in their romance, and they're going to spend some time apart.
What can I say? A powerful nor'eastern winter storm blanketed the northeastern U.S. on this date in 2006, dumping 1 to 2 feet of snow from Washington up to Boston. The storm dumped a record 26.9 inches of snow in New York City. In 2007, a gunman opened fire in a mall in Salt Lake City, killing 5 people in the Trolley Square shooting. Passing away on this date in history, actor Sal Mineo.
Jim, it's me. They're looking for you. Everybody, Crunch and Goon and everybody.
We know.
They think you told the police on them. They're gonna... Who's in there?
Nobody. Just us chickens.
Who's in there?
Judy. Judy's up there.
Let me in?
Yeah, all right.
From the 1955 movie Rebel Without a Cause, Sal Mineo passing away back in 1976. U.B. Blake passing away on this date as well. Musician Screamin' Jay Hawkins, football coach Tom Landry, comics author Charles Schultz from Peanuts, also Oliver Good Morning Starshine, Sammy Smith, Help Me Make It Through the Night, Sid Caesar, a delightfully funny man, as well as radio host, voice actor, and all-around amazing guy, Gary Owens, passing away on this date. Singer Al Jarreau, what great music. Even in his later years, Al Jarreau did some great music. Former WWF champion Pedro Morales, back in the olden days, back in the 60s and 70s, an amazing person. And Ivan Reitman from Ghostbusters, the director, all passing away on this date in history. Those who are no longer with us but born on this date include naturalist Charles Darwin, as we mentioned earlier, President Lincoln, also labor leader John L. Lewis, General Omar Bradley, Ted Mack of the original Amateur Hour, Tex Beneke, a fine musician and band leader, actor Lorne Greene. He was Battlestar Galactica, and before that, Bonanza. Also actor Forrest Tucker, film and opera director Franco Zeffirelli. Also Gene McDaniels and Joe Garagiola, who did some wonderful work. He was a part-time announcer for the Diamondbacks back in the early 2000s. And he said this: baseball, it hasn't changed that much. You still have to hit the ball and you still have to catch it. Good players will win and bad players will lose. Winners win and losers make excuses. It's as simple as that. Joe Garagiola, who died in 2016 at the age of 90, born on this date in 1926.
Hi, this is Jeff Foxworthy. It is now time for the birthday announcements. The following people are now officially older than dirt.
From Walking Tall, Joe Don Baker turns 88 today. Author Judy Blume, 86. Race car driver Johnny Rutherford from Coffeyville, Kansas, 86 years old today. Country singer Mo Bandy is 80. From the Doobie Brothers, Sweet Freedom, Michael McDonald, 72. Actor and talk show host Arsenio Hall, 68 today. From Wilson Phillips, the daughter of John and Michelle Phillips, China Phillips, 56 today. Actor Josh Brolin is 56. The director of The Wrestler with Mickey Rourke and Black Swan, Daryl Aronofsky, is 55. She was Wednesday in the Addams Family movie. Christina Ricci is 44. And from Mean Girls 2 and The In-Between, Jennifer Stone is 31. Those just a few of the people who celebrate the 12th day of February as their birthday. If this happens to be your birthday,
hi, we're the 4 freshmen, and we just want to say, happy birthday to you.
And on a Comedy Monday, we'll start off with the 1952 episode of The Bob Hope Show and the Las Vegas Story. That's up next here on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox.
A well-designed school can be more than a fine building and a place for learning. It can also protect the children, the teachers, and the whole neighborhood, too, if the architect has designed the school to serve as a community fallout shelter as well. Over 13,000 architects and engineers have been trained in fallout shielding techniques. To learn more about building fallout shelter into new schools, contact your local civil defense director.
Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox here on your favorite station. We're going to go back 72 years now, February 12, 1952, for an episode of The Bob Hope Show.
Show. Transcribed direct from George Air Force Base, Victorville, California. With Les Brown and his band of renown. It's yours truly, Hy Averback. Our special guests, Alexis Smith, Jerry Colonna, and Connie Haynes. And here he is, Bob Hope.
At George Air Base in Victorville, California for the men of the Air Corps. It's easy to tell this base is located in the heart of the Dude Ranch country. On my way in, I saw a rattlesnake wearing chaps. And it took me quite a while to find this place. Every time I asked the GI, is this George? He said, Roger. And it gets pretty lonely in the desert country around here. In fact, one guy here is going steady with a Mirage. That's not so bad, but he keeps asking her if she's got a sister. And the climate is very unusual out here. It's warm in the daytime, and then it suddenly gets cold at night, which reminds me of a girl I once knew. But that was another war. Anyway, love is in the air. And without a 3-day pass, that's where it stays, in the air. This is the time of the year when the birds and the bees talk about people. Nobody ever had to tell me about the birds and the bees. I used to sell popcorn at a drive-in theater. Motorists, huh? One private here has a girl who wrote she was flying to Los Angeles, so he went out and drew a big heart in the sand. And it worked. Now he's going steady with a gopher.
Well, Bob, I guess it's about time to introduce Alexis Smith, isn't it? Now, how would it be if I...
Relax, Hy. Relax. Look, tonight I want it to be different.
What do you mean?
Well, every week it's the same. A beautiful girl is introduced, she comes out here, and a situation develops. Hy, when a gorgeous girl meets a handsome man, that's it. To put it bluntly, a motorcycle doesn't need a third wheel.
Bob, you just feel that way because you're built like a sidecar.
But to get back to what we were talking about, when Alexis Smith comes out here, I don't want you horning into the conversation.
Well, I don't get it, Bob.
Well, Alexis is a fine, aesthetic type of person, and so am I. Now, I don't want to hurt your feelings, but we're on a higher social level than you.
Oh, excuse me. I've been a cad. I deserve 10 lashes with a pussy willow.
You know, I think it would bruise him. Anyway, there's no use of us taking up any of Alexis's time, so please stay out of the way. Ladies and gentlemen, now I'd like to have you meet a very beautiful and talented actress, lovely Miss Alexis Smith.
Wonderful. Thank you, everybody, and
you get
thank
money,
you,
too,
Bob.
You know. I've been wanting to have you on our show for quite a while, Alexis, because we're so much the same type. I mean, we've got quite a lot in common. And...
Well, look who's here. Hi, Averback. How are you, Hi?
Hello, Alexis, honey.
Gee, Hi, I wish I'd known you were going to be on the program when we could have driven down here together, and I'd have had somebody to talk to.
Well, I thought you drove down with Bob.
I didn't.
I wonder if I could get a refund on my bottle of Stopette.
Hi, I haven't seen you for so long. What have you been doing?
Oh, the usual mad whirl of social affairs. 11 o'clock breakfast at Romanoff's, 1 o'clock surfboarding at Malibu, 3 o'clock polo at the Hunt Club, 5 o'clock
down to the Greyhound bus depot to count stubs. 6 o'clock, lash with your pussy willow. Besides, don't force it. I was pretty excited by the wonderful reception I got. Didn't you notice? Even 10 miles from the field here, these Air Force men were lined up along the road at rigid attention, saluting.
Bob, I told you to wear your glasses. Those were Joshua trees. Bob, I really did enjoy our ride down here, and those hitchhikers we picked up were really nice fellows, weren't they? You know, it was sweet of you to pick them up.
Well, I get as much out of it as they do, because I like to study the different types. Alexis, have you ever noticed the different types of hitchhikers?
Well, I can't say that I have, Bob. Are there different kinds?
Oh, sure. Now, you and the sound man drive the car, and I'll show you what I mean. First, there's the guy who has just made a corporal, and now he's so impressed with himself he can't get a cap to fit his head. Have to sew a brim on a mail sack. Now, let's see what happens when you pick up this guy.
Looks like we're going in the same direction, soldier. Would you like a ride? Did you hear what I said?
Yeah, I heard you.
Well, then why don't you get in?
Coax me.
Oh, come on, soldier.
Well, all right. But drive straight to the camp. No running out of gas.
Well, goodness sakes, you don't have to sit way over there. Sit a little closer.
I guess it'll be all right.
Well, you're still quite far away. Why are you so cautious?
Well, I know about chicks like you. I'll move a little closer, and then you'll move a little closer, and I'll move closer, then you'll move closer, and first thing you know, you'll wrinkle my stripes.
I didn't notice those stripes. You are important, aren't you? Do those stripes entitle you to go to the officers' club?
No. No, but after dark, they let me sit on the front porch.
You must be very proud to be a corporal. Is that a very high rank?
Around here it is.
Well, you see, I don't know much about rank. Who can you talk back to?
Anyone from a private up to a Greyhound bus driver.
Well, here's the camp. So long, Corporal. It's been a pleasure to ride with you.
Naturally. Hey, by the way, aren't you Alexis Smith, the movie star?
Yes, I'm Alexis Smith.
Well, gee, would you mind getting out of the car? There's a lot of sunlight here, and it's a good place to take a snapshot.
Well, I'd be glad to. Is this spot here all right?
Oh, swell. This is a wonderful camera. There we are. I sure hope it turns out. You're a nice girl, and you deserve a good picture of me. Alexis, that's one kind of hitchhiker. And then sometimes you might pick up a guy about like this. Hey, you going my way?
Sure, soldier. Jump in.
Well, nice-looking girl. Nice-looking car. Nice day. I'm really living.
Well, you seem very happy.
Yeah, I've been to San Bernardino, had a good lunch. Now I'm on my way back.
You went clear to San Bernardino to eat?
Yeah, it's a long trip, but I do it 3 times a day. I don't like the food at the base.
Well, if you don't like the food, why don't you speak to the mess sergeant?
I'm the mess sergeant. But I don't think my talents are appreciated. Yesterday, a bunch of guys complained about what I served them for dinner.
What'd you serve them?
Hungarian goulash.
What do you put in your goulash?
Lady, you wouldn't believe it. One guy got nasty about it. Said it should taste more like goulash and less like a Hungarian. I surprised him yesterday with cake. It was the first time I ever baked a cake.
The first cake you ever baked?
Yeah, Bo. I did just what it said in the recipe. Say, lady, you've done some cooking. What does that abbreviation mean, TBS?
TBS? Well, that means tablespoon.
Tablespoon? How do you like that? I put in 2 tubs of baking soda.
2 tubs of baking soda? How did the cake taste?
I don't know. Before we could cut into it, it was out of sight. Hey. Here's the airfield. Let me off that gate over there.
Okay. Oh, look, there's an officer running toward us.
Yeah, that's our CO, Colonel Carter.
Oh, I'm certainly glad to see you, Sergeant. Some orders have just come through. We're flying you to Washington at once. They want you there as fast as possible.
They want me in Washington, Colonel?
That's right, Sergeant. You and only you can handle this important assignment. You have an opportunity to strike a great blow for your country.
Oh, gee, what is it?
Our intelligence department just found out. They need a cook at the Russian embassy.
Close to the Air Force. Her husband's a great test pilot, and she'll always be walking with us, Miss Connie Haynes.
Dear Dorothy Dick, I'm in an awful fix. I thought he was in love with me, but found that he was only up to his old tricks. Dear Emily Pope, no wiser I than most. Please exercise your nimble brain and tell me how a girl can entertain a ghost. So I'm writing to you for advice, ladies. The situation isn't very nice, ladies. I find myself completely at a loss, ladies. My heart and not my mind is bought. you do at the end of a love affair? So I talk a little too much, and I laugh a little too much, and my voice is too loud when I'm out in a crowd, so that people are apt to stare. Do they know, do they care that it's only that I'm lonely and low as can be, and the smile on my face isn't really a smile at all? So I smoke a little too much, and I drink a little too much, and the tunes I request are not always the best, but the ones where the trumpets blare. So I go at a maddening pace, and I pretend that it's taken his place. But what else can you do at the end of a love affair?
Ladies and gentlemen, tonight the players present their version of the Las Vegas story. The leading man in the movie is Victor Mature. We couldn't get him, so his part will be played by Bob Hope, who has not only matured, he's begun to crack at the seams. And now, the Las Vegas story, which is really the story of the Lester Hope family and that most fabulous gambler of all time, Never Lose Lester. The beginning of our story comes from the lips of the person who knew him best.
I am the mother of Lester Hope. Gambling had been the curse of our family, and I made up my mind that little Lester wasn't going to be a victim of it. So I raised him way out in the country on a chicken ranch. Till he was 15 years old, he never saw anything but them 10,000 chickens. He played with the chickens, ate with chickens, and slept with the chickens. One day I called to him out in the yard, Lester? He came in, cocked his head at me, and said, quack, 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 quack. You're going to have your lunch in the house. Yes, you've got to stop pecking your food up off the ground. Just look how you've bent your beak. Son, you're getting older now. I think I better learn you to talk.
Ma did learn me how to talk, and it was about time, because I was beginning to be mixed up. It was getting so whenever I seen a worm, I didn't know whether to go fishing or tie on a napkin. One day when I was going through my pa's old clothes, I found a couple of square things with dots on them. Had an awful lot of fun playing with them. Say, look what I got here, Ma.
Oh, goodness, he's found his pa's pair of dice. Now, hand those right over, son.
Well, what are they, Ma?
What are they? Nothing, son. We call them tiddlywinks.
Tiddlywinks?
Yes.
Well, they sure work fine. I just tiddled the guy next door out of his ranch.
Please don't. Please don't, son. You'll turn out to be like your pa. when he gambled, he always won. If he played cards, he won. With dice, he won. Faro, he won. And the horse race, he won.
Well, whatever happened to Pa?
The morning you were born, he shot himself. He just couldn't stand to lose.
Nothing will change my mind, Ma. I'm going to Las Vegas.
Here you are, folks. Deputy Professor Colonna's gambling house. Come right in.
Well, I decided to go in. I wanted to show that professor fellow that I was a real city dude, so I straightened my tie, stuck out my chest, and I was walking right by him when he said...
Just a minute, Sam, before you go in, don't you want to check your bullfrog?
Well, stranger, I see them bright lights, and I figured I'd mosey into your shindig and see what kind of newfangled goings-on was going on. If I'd have known it was a real hoop-to-do like this, I'd have left Bossy half milk and ski-daddled into town a long time ago.
You're from the country, aren't you?
How'd you know, boy?
Oh, just took a wild guess. You want to be very careful here. In the big city, young fellow, I'm a special officer appointed to protect newcomers from being swindled. You know, you're liable to meet men here who will come up and talk to you like a friend. But all the time they're looking you in the eye and being friendly, they're feeling around in your pockets and stealing your money. In fact, it's a very bad... You got yours pinned to your underwear, haven't you? Step right in, boy, and try your luck.
Well, do you think I'll win?
In my gambling club, everybody wins. We're open every day of the year, and we lose $100,000 a day.
You lose $100,000 a day. How can you stay in business?
We use imitation butter on the free lunch. Go right in, and they'll take good care of you inside.
Okay. Folks in here. This is quite a place.
Hello there, handsome. I'm a hostess. Are you looking for excitement?
Not anymore. What's a hostess?
That's a female host.
What's a female?
A female is a girl.
Yeah, what's a girl?
I'm one.
That worked out good, didn't it?
Why don't you come over to the bar and have a drink with me?
Well, don't mind if I do.
Oh, bartender, a couple of atomic cocktails. That's 3 fingers of rye whiskey with a chaser of straight alcohol.
I better not. I'll take a lavender tiger.
What's that?
That's a crushed raspberry floating on a gob of yummy yogurt. You know, you caught my eye, gal. I'm setting my cap for you.
Really?
I kind of like you.
You do?
Yeah, you're prettier than a mess of turkey tails frying in a pan of hog fat. You sure have got an elegant figure.
Well, thank you. They tell me I have almost perfect measurements.
Yeah, what are they?
Well, my neck is 13 inches.
Yeah.
And my shoulders are 24 inches.
Go.
And my ankles are 5 inches.
Ankles? We lost the best page of the script.
Say, now that you're here, would you like to do some gambling? Why don't you play some roulette? I'll see that they don't gyp you. Here's the roulette wheel.
Gee, that sure looks interesting.
All right, folks. The wheel of fortune is turning. Get your bets down. There goes the little ball. It's 17. Everybody loses. Now get your money down again. That's fine. 27. Everybody loses. Now quick, get your money down again. Here we go.
I'm going to put my number on number 32.
Now the wheel is slowing down and the ball goes in the lucky slot.
Gee, it fell on 32. Mister, I had all my money on 32. Well, what do you say?
Everybody out. Closing time. All right, get your bets down. Remember, you can beat the wheel, but you can't beat the system.
Well, I'm going to put all my money on number 5.
Number 5, you won.
Yeah, I'm going to put all my winnings on number 10.
Number 10, gee, you've got $1,000 now.
The whole thing goes on 17.
Easy, lad. Better keep some carfare. Remember, you can beat the wheel, but you can't beat the system.
17 wins. You're rich.
Yeah, I guess that shows you something, mister.
I'll have to admit, you beat the wheel.
Well, so long. Take all this money and go right out that door. Oh!
Too bad he didn't beat the system.
The memory of each fighter bomber guy who fly their ships on high at this base called George, where they train to forge the link that frees the sky. We thank you so much.
Oh, the casinos in Las Vegas aren't that bad today. No, they're not. They're worse. The Bob Hope Show from 72 years ago, February 12th, 1952, here on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Well, as we're around Jack Benny's birthday, we're going to have a few Jack Benny shows over the next couple of days, including this one from 85 years ago, February 12th, 1939. Jack Benny and the Jell-O Show is next here on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox.
A well-designed school can be more than a fine building and a place for learning. It can also protect the children, the teachers, and the whole neighborhood, too, if the architect has designed the school to serve as a community fallout shelter as well. Over 13,000 architects and engineers have been trained in fallout shielding techniques. To learn more about building fallout shelter into new schools, contact your local civil defense director.
A reminder, all the information you're hearing about civil defense, it's all on a webpage, civildefensemuseum.com, civildefensemuseum.com. Tomorrow, we will have a Jack Benny program about his birthday. We'll also have an episode of the Halls of Ivy, Bud Abbott and Lou Costello, Life with Luigi, and an episode of Lum and Abner. But right now, let us go to 1939, February 12th, 85 years ago today, and the Jack Benny Jell-O Show.
J-E-L-L-O. The Jell-O program starring Jack Benny with Mary Livingston, Phil Harris, Kenny Baker, and yours truly, Don Wilson. The orchestra opens the program with Sing My Heart. You know, everybody likes to receive a compliment. It makes you feel mighty happy. And we've just received one which pleased us very much indeed. It's from Mrs. George A. Bradley, Garden City, Iowa, and Mrs. Bradley writes, "After a long time, I am finally using the real and genuine Jell-O. And let me tell you, I was amazed at the difference. At first, I thought that fruity goodness was the fruit I myself had added. But when I served Jell-O without any additional fruit, it still had that grand fruit flavor. Why, I could hardly believe any gelatin dessert could be so good. From now on, I shall always get the real Jell-O." Well, thank you very much, Mrs. Bradley. That's a swell letter. And, folks, it's true. The Jell-O does bring you delicious, extra-rich fruit flavor. It's a rich, satisfying, true fruit goodness that makes every Jell-O dessert a success. Strawberry, raspberry, cherry, orange, lemon, and lime. All 6 have that extra fruit flavor that simply can't be topped. So be sure to insist on genuine Jell-O when you buy. Look for the big red letters on the box. They spell Jell-O. My Heart played by the orchestra. Now, ladies and gentlemen, Tuesday being Valentine's Day and also Jack Benny's birthday, let us welcome our little Cupid with that old familiar greeting. Are you ready?
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Jack Benny.
Happy birthday to me. Well, hello again. This is Jack Benny talking, and folks, believe me, I am deeply touched. Don, wasn't that lovely the way our audience joined in on that greeting? Gosh, it was so spontaneous and sincere. Huh?
Yes, Jack, it certainly was.
I thought they were better when they rehearsed it. Phil, I'm talking to Don. Well, Don, another year, another birthday. See, here it is February again. You know, it's amazing how many prominent people were born in the month of February. And it made it pretty tough for me, too. Huh?
Why? What do you mean?
Well, with Washington and Longfellow and Lincoln, it's so hard for me to be outstanding. You know? Really, it's been a terrific struggle.
I can imagine.
Of course, Don, I don't want you to think for a minute that I'm comparing myself to Lincoln or Washington. Why not? Washington wore a wig, too. Phil, I'm talking to Don. You know, Don, I will say that my father really thought I was going to grow up to be president.
Well, all fathers have great plans for their children. Why, my dad thought I was going to be a jockey.
A jockey? Well, he must have looked at you through the wrong end of a pair of binoculars. A jockey, yes.
Now, wait a minute, Jack. Don't jump at conclusions. At the age of 17, I was nothing but skin and bones.
Well, those bones are certainly buried now. But you know, Don, getting back to my birthday, gee, the years come along so fast, I can hardly keep track of them.
Oh, they certainly do. Oh, by the way, Jack, how old will you be next Tuesday?
What was that, Don? You heard him. Phil, I'm talking to Don. Well, I'm lonesome. Well, why don't you join a lodge or something? What were you saying, Don?
I said, how old will you be next Tuesday?
Well, come on, Don. What would you say? Go ahead, give a guess. Huh?
Well, I don't know, Jack. I'd say somewhere between 34 and 37.
You would? Well, you didn't quite hit it, Don, but it was almost a bullseye. There's bull in there somewhere. Oh, brother. Listen, Phil, you're hardly in a position to make any cracks about my age. Those bags under your eyes are so big, your nose looks like a red cap. It does, eh? Yes, and get this. On my 75th birthday, I'll be able to go out on an all-night party, eat a Welsh rarebit with pickles, and on the way home get run over by a milk wagon, and still look better than you do right now. So don't make any cracks about my age.
Jack's right, Phil. He can't be very old and have such nice rosy cheeks all the time.
It could be rouge, you know. Rouge, Phil, I haven't had rouge on my cheeks since I played an Indian chief for Cecil B. DeMille. Oh, hello, Mary.
Hello, Rain in the Face. Happy birthday.
Ugh, and thanks.
Say, Jack,
Right.
I didn't know whether I'd see you Tuesday or not, so here, I brought you a birthday present.
Oh, that's swell, Mary, but really, you shouldn't have bought me anything for me.
Why not?
Well, for one thing, it makes Phil and Don look so awfully cheap. You know, huh?
Well, Jack, I was going to get you something, but after all, you have everything.
Oh, I can excuse you, Don, but Phil saw me in the locker room at the country club yesterday, and he knows darn well I need underwear. Was that your underwear? I cleaned my golf clubs with it. Oh, you did, eh?
Hey, are you going to open my present or not?
Oh, I'm sorry, Mary. You bet I'm going to, and right now. Imagine cleaning his clubs with my... Well, I'll be darned. Look, fellas, a silk necktie. Gee, thanks, Mary.
You like it?
I'll say, what a lovely color. But what's that little thing crawling around the bottom?
A silkworm. The tie isn't finished yet.
Oh, well, he's going like 60, so it won't be long now, huh? Thanks again, Mary.
And that isn't all. I also wrote a special birthday poem for you.
A poem, too. Well, hit me on the head and clip my tongue. Huh? A birthday poem. Huh?
Yeah. Say, Jack, how old are you anyway?
Well, how old do you think I am?
Oh, I don't know. It's hard to tell.
Go ahead and guess.
Okay. 30?
No.
31?
No.
32?
No.
48?
Shut up! Be a long time, Mary, before I'm 48. Now, let's hear your poem. What's the title of it?
Mary Livingston's Ode to Jack Benny by Mary Livingston.
Oh, you mentioned me, too, didn't you? Well, go ahead, Mary.
Okay. Oh, Jack Benny, you've had birthdays, but how many? Is it 21 or more? Or twice that much, and more and more? Years ago in old Waukegan, in the state of Illinois, a child was born into the Bennies, and it wasn't Myrna Loy.
Well, of course not, Myrna Loy.
'Twas a boy, they called him Jackie, and even then he looked quite wacky.
Wacky?
And the good old stork who brought him there shot himself with a revolver.
Now, Mary, that wasn't his attitude at all.
Quiet.
No.
I see you, Jack, at the age of 2, with golden curls and eyes of blue.
That's right.
And then I see you 3 years old, with silver threads among the gold.
Mary, now how could I have gray hair at the age of 3?
You didn't live right and you know it.
All right, now grow me up and finish this.
Okay. At 12, you said you'd run away unless the fiddle you could play. And when you got one, what do you think? Were you good or did you tink?
Tink?
Yeah, baby talk.
Oh. Well, Mary, this next verse better be the last.
It is.
Oh.
Oh, Jack Benny, you've had birthdays, but how many? So happy returns and all good wishes. From us and Jell-O, so delicious. The end.
Mary, that poem was so good I'm afraid to follow it with anything verbal. So, Phil, how about an orchestra number?
Wait a minute, Jack. I can't find my baton.
Your baton? Can't you lead without it?
It's not that. I got something in my tooth.
Oh. Well, go ahead. I'll look around for it. Hold it a minute. Come in.
Mr. Benny?
Yes?
I'd like to take this opportunity of wishing you a happy birthday. And may life grow sweeter as the years roll by.
Well, thank you very much. Now tell me, who are you?
Just a bunion in the march of time. Goodbye.
You know, folks, I'll bet he has more fun than anybody. Play, Phil. Number called I Better Get Some Shut-Eye, played by Phil Harris, who certainly looks it. You know, folks, Phil never gets to bed. He's what I'd call one sleepy people. And now, ladies and gentlemen...
Wait a minute, Jack. I resent that vitriolically.
Vitriolically? Well, some stuff. Why, Phil, you're not only using the word wrong, but you don't even know what it means.
I do, too. I got it from my guitar player, didn't I, Frankie?
Yeah, I learned you a lot of things.
That's what I thought. Phil, Phil, there isn't one man in your orchestra that can handle a word of over 2 syllables.
Is that so? Well, for your information, all the boys in my band went through college.
Well, they didn't get any on them. Vitriolically. Well, I don't even know what it means.
Well, Jack, it's an unusual word, but I think I can explain it to you.
You can, Don?
Why, yes. For instance, you could never use the word this way. A man walked into a grocery store and vitriolically asked the grocer for a package of Jell-O in any one of its 6 delicious flavors: strawberry, raspberry, cherry, orange, lemon, and lime.
Oh, you couldn't. Well, how could you use the word vitriolically?
That I wouldn't know.
I see, and very clever, Don. Well, so much for our English lesson. And now going from the sublime to Kenny Baker. Say, hey, Kenny, you're a little late, huh?
I couldn't help it, Jack. I stopped in the store to buy you a birthday present. Here you are, a nice box of candy.
Oh, well, thanks. Hey. Well, gee, I'm going to sample one of these right now. Huh? It was sweet of you to remember me, Kenny, but, gee, you didn't have to buy me anything.
That's what you said last year, and you twisted my wrist.
Oh, Kenny, I was only clowning, you know. Say, gosh, look at this. Say, these are the biggest pieces of candy I've ever seen. What are they, anyway?
Chocolate-covered bananas.
Chocolate-covered bananas? Oh, well, that's something new. Here, have one, Don.
Well, thanks, Jack, but I'm cutting down on sweets.
Oh, how about you, Phil?
No, thanks. I'm not a bit hungry.
Mary?
No, thanks. I'm not a bit crazy.
Well, Kenny, looks like you and I'll have to eat the whole box.
I'm game.
So am I.
That's a suicide pact if I ever heard one.
That's right. Let's forget the whole thing. Well, Kenny, how about a song? Huh?
Okay, I've got one for you. Oh, say, Jack.
Yes?
Did you hear Fred Allen, I Pan a You Wednesday night?
No, and I'm not interested. Now go ahead with your song.
Boy, he sure tore into you.
Yeah. He said your feet were so flat your socks bagged at the arches.
Well, Phil, I'm not even going to answer him. After all, the man is in bad shape. You know, he's so weak and anemic, and on top of that, his blood circulation is so poor, it's really pathetic.
Alan has poor blood circulation, huh?
Poor? Don, 10 years ago, a rattlesnake bit him on the ankle, and the poison has yet to reach his knee. And the square fellas, he hasn't got any more pulse than a snowman. The whole thing is really pitiful. Go ahead with your song, Kenny.
Okay.
Say, Jack, whatever became of that rattlesnake that bit Fred Allen?
It was knighted, Mary. And now, Kenny, you may sing. Now, hold it a minute. Hello?
Hello, Mr. Benny, this is Rochester.
Yes, what do you want?
I got something to ask you, but first I want to wish you a happy birthday.
Thanks, Rochester, but my birthday isn't until Tuesday.
I know, but that's my payday, and we always argue.
All right, now, what was it you wanted to ask me?
Say, boss, do we know any Eskimos?
Eskimos? Of course we don't know any Eskimos.
Okay, so long.
So long. Hey, Rochester, wait a minute. What made you ask me if we know any Eskimos?
Well, boss, a big box just came for you and said happy birthday on it.
Yes?
And when I opened it, there was a polar bear inside.
A polar bear? Oh, it can't be a real bear. It must be a rug.
That's what I thought till it slapped me down.
You mean you let that bear loose in my house? Where is he now?
He's in the bathroom taking a cold shower.
In my bathroom, Rochester, you go right in there and get him out.
Boss, I wouldn't go in there well-armed, tired of living, and directly behind Frank Buck.
Oh, this sounds fantastic to me. Rochester, I'll bet this whole thing is nothing but a figment of your imagination. What's that?
The figment wants a towel.
Oh, my goodness.
What am I going to do with this bear anyway?
Put him back in the crate and have the cook look up some recipes. I bet Fred Allen had something to do with this. Well, Rochester, keep your eye on him. I'll be home in about half an hour.
Okay, boss, I gotta run along now. There's something breathing on my neck.
What?
Wait till I look around. Yep, that's it. So long, boy.
Can you imagine that?
What's the matter, Jack?
Plenty is the matter. There's a polar bear loose in my house.
I told you should have put in a furnace.
Yeah, that would be a big help. Sing, Kenny. Say, Mary, I wonder how much it would cost to send an alligator to New York. I don't know.
Every word, every sigh, every kiss. Thanks for everything, for bringing me moments like this, for taking the skies of gray and making them blue, for taking my cares away. I tip my heart to you. So thanks for everything, every thrill in your tender caress. Thanks to you alone for all that I'll ever possess. You gave me my reason to dream, then made every dream come true. And so for everything, my thanks to you. There's nothing in the world I wouldn't do to be worthy of you. For any time that I am ever blue, you'll come smiling through. You're my sunny day, you're my only inspiration. Here's all that I can say to show you my appreciation. So thanks for everything, every thrill in your tender caress. Thanks to you alone for all that I'll ever possess. You gave me my reason to dream, then made every dream come true. And so for everything, I give my thanks.
That was Thanks for Everything, sung by Kenny Baker. And Kenny, for finesse and feeling and delicacy of tone, you are definitely preeminent among young American tenors.
Gee, ain't I something?
Yes, and I wish I could tell you. And now, ladies and gentlemen, in honor of Valentine's Day next Tuesday, tonight the Benny Art and Bingo Players will present a romantic little drama about an old maid entitled Love Finds Annie Hardy, or It's About Time. Now,
Am I going to be Annie?
No, Mary, I hired a genuine old maid for the part. Where are you, Miss Mildew? I mean, Miss Muldew. Where are you?
Right here. Where's my man? Yahoo!
Control yourself, Miss Muldew. Now, in this drama, I will be Annie's paw, Mary will be her maw, and Don, Phil, and Kenny will be rivals for Annie's hand.
Oh, no.
Count me out.
So long, Jack.
Come back here, all of you. Don't worry, Annie. We'll hook one of them.
I hope I get the fat one. Yahoo!
Why, Don, you're blushing. Anyhow, the locale of our play is the thriving little town of Off-Center, Indiana. As the scene opens, we find Ma and Pa seated in the parlor of the little love nest they built 50 years ago. Curtain. Music. love, your magic spell is everywhere. Tum, 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 tum. Well, Ma, here it is Valentine's Day, and the air is full of romance.
It is, eh?
Yep.
Well, open the window and let it out.
Oh, come on, Ma. This being Valentine's Day, how about a little kiss?
Get away from me, you old fool.
Okay, I couldn't find your lips and all those wrinkles anyhow. Ouch. I was only joking, Ma.
This is no time for jokes. Our daughter Annie is 40 years old and she ain't married yet.
Well, she'd have been married long ago, wasn't for hay fever.
What's that got to do with it?
Well, the fellas can hear her wheezing a block away, and she can't sneak up on them. You sent her down to the beauty parlor to get a mud pack like I told you to?
Yeah, but she had one last year and it was no good.
Why not?
After 3 days, the darn mud wore off.
Oh.
She's the homeliest gal I ever seen.
Well, like mother, like daughter. Ouch, stop hitting me. If I wasn't petrified, I'd be black and blue.
Speaking of Annie, what's the idea of getting her all dressed up today?
Well, I got a scheme, Ma. There's only 3 single fellas left in town, ain't they?
Yep. There's Tubby Wilson, Daffy Baker, and Twitch Harris.
That's right. I invited all 3 of them up here today, and it's our job to get one of them to marry our daughter.
How do you know they'll show up?
I told them you were going to do a fan dance. All's fair in love and war. I bet that's one of the boys now. Pull your bustle up, Ma.
That's the footstool.
Oh. Come in.
Howdy, folks.
Well, if it ain't Twitch Harris. Hiya, Twitch.
Finer than silk. What's on your mind, Zeke?
Got an important question to ask you. Here, have a glass of cider first. That'll get him, Ma.
Cider? Hey, wait a minute. This stuff ain't intoxicating.
It better be.
Quiet, Ma. Say, Twitch, I don't want to seem personal, but have you ever thought of marrying a girl and settling down?
If you're referring to that lop-eared daughter of yours, no.
Now, hold on, Twitch. Have you seen Annie since she got her new teeth?
Yeah, I went to the preview.
Well, she may not be the prettiest gal in town, but she's smart and stylish. You know, she got her hair up.
Up where?
Upstairs.
Keep quiet, Ma. We got to get our daughter married.
Say, Zeke, I thought you were going to raffle Annie off.
I tried to, but I couldn't sell any tickets, so I changed it to a duck.
A duck? That's cheating.
It is not. She walks like one.
Mary, I wish you'd shut up. You're cramping my style.
Gosh, I'll bet that's Annie now. Let me out of here.
Quick, Harris, get away from that window.
So long, folks.
Doggone that low-down Harris. He stole my jug.
Don't get excited, Pa. You can get another jug.
Yeah, but where the heck can I get another finger? Doggone it. Well, Ma, let's see if we can land the next one. Come in.
Good evening, folks.
Well, well. Look, Ma, it's Tubby Wilson.
Hello, Tubby. Have some chairs and sit down.
Yeah.
What's up, Zeke?
Tubby, how'd you like to marry my daughter Annie?
Annie?
Hold him, Ma.
I got him. I got him, Pa. I got him.
Let go of me, you old bat, and put your glasses on. Well, that's 2 strikes, but we ain't out yet. Come in.
Hello, everybody.
Well, it's young Baker. Son, I'll make it short and snappy. How'd you like to get married?
I don't know. Was it fun?
Ain't nothing like it, my boy. How'd you like to tie up with my Annie?
Gosh, I couldn't do that.
Hold on now. Just give me one reason why you don't want to marry my daughter.
She frightens me.
You'll get used to her. Now listen, Baker, if you take her for your bride, I'll treat you both to a honeymoon at Niagara Falls.
Niagara Falls? Can I push her in?
That's up to you, my boy. What I don't see don't hurt me.
That's right. Just get her out of the house.
Yes, sirree.
Okay, it's a deal.
Come in, come in. Oh, it's you. Hello, Annie.
Hello, Pa. Hello, Ma. Back from the beauty parlor already?
Yep. How do I look?
If you didn't pay your bill, don't.
I got good news for you, gal. Young Baker here has consented to make the supreme sacrifice. He's going to marry you.
And I got good news for you, too. I already got myself a husband.
A husband? Gee, Hoshaphat.
Cheapers, creepers.
So you're married, eh? Well, where is he?
Out on the porch. Come on in, mister.
Mister? Gosh, there ain't much to him, is there, Ma?
Well, he's a man. That's more than we expected.
That's right. Hello, everybody. Come in, young feller, and congratulations. What for? Hey, if you don't mind my asking a personal question, how'd you come to marry my daughter anyway?
Well, I'm a traveling salesman. I was just getting off the train when this girl grabbed me and put my seat right in the Silver Foster Street railway station. And I didn't know whether the famous seat of Foster Street or not to spell to me. And you brought the seat right beside the seat of Foster Street or Foster Street. And here I am.
Oh, she took you off your guard, eh?
Yeah, and not only that. You know, the seat is part of the tour, Silver Street for Foster Street. I know what a private seat of Foster Street is. It's Silver Street for Foster Street. Mother, what'll I do?
Too late to do anything, young man. You're hooked just like I was. Ouch! Play, Phil.
If you're looking for a delicious new dessert that your family is sure to enjoy, you needn't look any farther, because here it is. It's the new Jell-O chocolate pudding. Chocolate pudding with that old-fashioned homemade goodness. It has a lovely rich texture, a satin smoothness, a tempting color, and it tastes swell. For it's real chocolatey, full-flavored and rich, so delicious that every creamy spoonful brings you back for more. And Jell-O chocolate pudding is just one of 3 new Jell-O puddings. There's Jell-O butterscotch pudding, mellow and smooth with a golden taffy color that tempts your appetite, and a true butterscotch flavor that satisfies it. And then there's Jell-O vanilla pudding, creamy and delicate and inviting, an all-family favorite. And these 3 new Jell-O puddings are all quick and easy to make. The simple directions are on every package. A good idea is to buy 3 packages at a time. So ask your grocer tomorrow for Jell-O chocolate, butterscotch, and vanilla pudding, the real homemade kind.
It's the last number of the 20th program in the new Jell-O series, and we will be with you again next Sunday night at the same time. And oh yes, I'd like to take this opportunity of congratulating Boy Scouts and their leaders everywhere on their 29th birthday anniversary of Scouting in America. You know, Mary, I used to be a Boy Scout when I was a kid.
And now someone has to help you across the street.
They do not. Good night, folks.
Jell-O.
Kenny Baker appears on the Jell-O program through courtesy of Mervyn LeRoy Productions.
This is the National Broadcasting Company.
From 85 years ago, February 12, 1939, Jack Benny here on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. And we'll hear how his birthday was celebrated back in 1955 on tomorrow's show. On this Monday, we'll continue next with an episode of The Day in the Life of Dennis Day, Dennis's second show that he always talked about, from 77 years ago. That's next here on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox.
Trained people are needed to meet disasters. To fill this need, the United States Office of Civil Defense, in cooperation with the United States Office of Education and local school systems, is offering a 12-hour course called Personal and Family Survival. The course includes discussions on the effects of radioactive fallout, how to plan for and live in fallout shelters, and what to do after a nuclear attack. To learn more about personal and family survival, consult your local civil defense director.
Thanks for joining us on this Monday edition of Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Now an episode in the day in the life of Dennis Day. This goes back 77 years ago to February 12, 1947, and it seems like Dennis is getting some attention.
Ladies and gentlemen, Colgate Dental Cream presents The Dennis Day Show, written by Frank Galen, with Paula Winslow, Dink Trout, John Brown, Charles Dant in the orchestra, yours truly, Vern Smith, and starring our popular young singer in A Day in the Life of Dennis Day.
Twice a day and before every date, use Colgate Dental Cream to clean your breath while you clean your teeth.
Here's Dennis to sing one of Harry Lauder's famous songs, The Wig Wag Wiggle of the Kilt.
I'll never forget the day I went and joined the 93rd. The chums I used to run with said they thought I looked absurd. They saluted me and gathered round me in a ring, and as they wagged me tartar kilt, they all began to sing. He's a bra, heel and laddie, private Jock McDade. There's not another soldier like him in the Scotch Brigade. Reared among the heather, you can see he's Scottish built. By the wig, wiggle, waggle o' the kilt. Oh, I'm telling you, lads and lassies, there's nothing like the skull of the bagpipes and the wiggle of the kilt. Okay. I'll never forget the day we were ordered on review. The king came down to see us and the queen was weeing too. As I marched by the royal coach, the king just shook his head. The queen put on a royal specs and looked at me and said, "He's a broad Highland laddie, Private Jock McDade. There's not another soldier like him in the Scotch Brigade. Reared among the heather, you can see he's Scottish built. By the wig, wiggle, waggle of the kilt. Oh dear, he's too utterly. He's a bra, heel and laddie, Private Jock McDade. There's not another soldier like him in the Scotch Brigade. Reared among the heather, you can see he's Scottish built. By the wig, wiggle, waggle o' the kilt. By the wig, wag, a wiggly waggle o' the kilt. Hoot, man!
Colgate Dental Cream cleans your breath while it cleans your teeth.
No other toothpaste does a better job of cleaning your teeth than Colgate Dental Cream. For Colgate Dental Cream has a safe polishing agent that cleans your teeth both gently and thoroughly, brings out their natural sparkle and beauty.
And scientific tests prove that Colgate Dental Cream cleans your breath while it cleans your teeth. Yes, actual scientific tests prove conclusively that in 7 out of 10 cases, Colgate Dental Cream instantly stops unpleasing breath that originates in the mouth.
Colgate Dental Cream is famous for its wonderful wake-up flavor, too. Nationwide tests of leading toothpastes prove that Colgate Dental Cream is preferred for flavor over other brands tested.
So try Colgate Dental Cream to bring out the natural sparkle and beauty of your teeth for a wake-up flavor you'll thoroughly enjoy.
And use Colgate Dental Cream twice a day and before every date to clean your breath while you clean your teeth.
Well, it's the dead of night now as we look in on the little town of Weaverville. Nearly 10 p.m. And our young hero, Dennis Day, is walking home from a movie with his girlfriend, Mildred Anderson. The picture they've just seen has evidently affected Mildred a great deal, for only now, as they near the Anderson boarding house, does she break the silence she's maintained since they left the theater.
You know something, Dennis? I've been thinking.
I know, Mildred. I've been watching you and admiring.
Oh, it's that picture we just saw, The Best Years of Our Lives. Why, that could be the story of us, Dennis. Of your life and mine.
It could?
Oh, isn't the problem Dana Andrews had the same as yours? Didn't he come home from the war and have to take a job as a soda jerk just like you?
Yeah, but he can always earn $3,000 a week on the side as an actor.
That isn't what I mean, Dennis. Look at his marriage.
His marriage?
During the war, he got married in haste to a beautiful blonde with a gorgeous figure. When he came back and found out she wasn't his type mentally, he walked out on her.
I know. Lots of things happen in the movies that don't happen in real life.
But that's just it, Dennis. Unhappy marriages happen every day in real life. One of us could turn out to be exactly like that beautiful blonde in the picture.
Oh, I could never make it.
Dennis, I'm trying to get across a point.
Oh.
After Dana Andrews was married, he fell in love with Frederick March's daughter. The same thing might happen to you.
How could it? I don't even know Frederick March's daughter.
What I'm trying to say is, you might meet someone you like better than me after it's too late.
Oh, never.
Well, how do you know? Look, tonight as we sat watching that movie, you held my hand, didn't you?
I couldn't help it. Your perfume inflamed me.
All right. But have you ever sat in a darkened theater balcony with anyone else?
Sure.
And did you hold hands then?
No.
Why not?
He was a fella.
Dennis, tell me the truth. How many girls have you ever gone out with?
You mean altogether, counting you?
Yes.
1.
There, you see? That's the point I've been trying to make. You can't be sure you're really, truly in love with me because you've never had an opportunity to test your love.
But I don't have to test it. I'm sure of it.
You can't be until you take out other girls, too.
Well, I don't want to take out other girls, too, Mildred. It wouldn't be fair to you.
Why not?
Well, gee, you've got enough expenses now.
Well, it might be worth it to make certain.
No, Mildred. Other girls don't interest me in any way. I don't interest them.
Are you sure? Have you ever tried to meet another girl?
Well, I once dropped my handkerchief in front of one on the street.
Well, what happened?
She picked it up and blew my nose.
Oh.
I guess I'm just not easy to love.
Other girls don't know you like I do, Dennis. Someday that wonderful personality that's deep down inside of you will come bursting out and every woman in town will fight to get you.
Gee, I hope you'll hide me till I get it back inside again.
Oh, I will.
Well, here we are at the house.
Yes. Maybe we better say goodnight out here, Dennis. The folks are sleeping.
All right. Mildred, that perfume you're wearing, it's... Mildred, could I mean, would you?
Yes, Dennis?
Would you shake hands goodnight with me?
Yes, Dennis. Good night.
Good night, Mildred. Chum. Good morning, Willoughby's drugstore. Oh, yes, Mrs. Willoughby. Huh? No, he isn't in yet. Oh, yes, ma'am. I'll have him call you the minute he gets here. Yes, ma'am. Goodbye.
Morning, Dennis.
Morning, Mr. Willoughby. Your wife just... Say, how come you're wearing hip boots and fishing clothes and got those 2 poles on your shoulder?
Guess.
You going fishing?
Good boy. Very first try.
Oh, anyone could have done it. Your wife wants you to call her right away, Mr. Willoughby. She says it's very important.
I kind of thought she'd be calling. That's why I'm going fishing. And I've already left, Dennis. Do you understand?
Yes, sir. Trouble on the home front?
Plenty. My lodge had a banquet and meeting last night. The Bald Eagles, Nest 53. And I got home at 4 a.m. My wife didn't care particularly for the way I walked through our front door.
No?
No. She thinks I should have opened it first.
Gosh.
And that isn't all. Imagine what she'll say when she learns that we had a line of chorus girls to entertain us at the party. Women, Dennis.
Yeah, I know. Chorus girls always are.
You're so right. And if memory serves, I got rather friendly with one of the dear creatures in a perfectly harmless way, of course.
Oh, your wife wouldn't mind that. The average woman wants her man to test his love for her.
Oh, really? Well, my wife happens to be well below average.
I guess I'm luckier than you that way.
Undoubtedly. Now, if you'll run to the back of the store and make me up a few liverwurst sandwiches to take along, I'll be on my way.
Yes, sir. I'll have them right away for you, Mr. Willoughby.
Oh, my head. Why do I do these things?
Hello, little bald eagle.
Eep!
Remember me from last night, little old Dixie with the cute little Trixie?
Yes. Yes, indeed. How are you, friend?
Friend? That isn't what you called me last night.
All right. Snuggle poo.
That's better. Remember you told me to look you up sometime? Well, here I am.
Oh. Did I say that?
Uh-huh. A friend of mine snapped a picture at the party last night. I thought you might like to see it. Or Perhaps your wife would.
Picture? A group picture.
Just you and me, sugar.
Why, that's a small group, isn't it? Were we close together?
I was sitting on your lap.
That's fairly close together.
Isn't it? It's such a nice picture, I want you to have it. That is...
If I pay for it.
Oh, you're a quick one. And after all, what's $50 to a man like you?
50?
Owning a big drugstore and all.
No, wait a minute. I lied to you. I don't own the store at all.
Huh?
And I just work here. The real boss is... Say, if I put you next to a real sucker, will you give me that picture?
Who is he?
The head of the whole drug chain. Why, $50 is dirt with a guy like that. He's good for thousands. His name is Dennis Day. And he's right here in the store now.
Oh, a big tycoon, huh?
Yeah. Now, give me the picture.
Well, okay. But this guy better be all you say, sugar.
Oh, he is. Only don't be surprised if he seems a little puzzled or bewildered at first. He puts on a dopey act to fool people.
Oh, that's okay, honey. I prefer him dopey. I picked you out, didn't I?
Yes. Well, I hear him coming. I better get out of here. Good luck.
Here's your sandwiches all ready for you, Mr. Why, where's Mr. Willoughby?
Oh, who cares when there's a great, big, gorgeous hunk of stuff like you around? Love bundle.
Who? Me?
Are you a dreamboat? Come here, you beautiful stick of dynamite.
Who? Me?
I'll say you really send me dream man.
Who? I?
Oh, now, beautiful. Is that all you can say to a girl? You can be nice. Come on, try.
Would you care for a liverwurst sandwich?
Baby, can't you see this thing is too big for either of us? You're not going to fight it, are you?
I don't know. Am I mad at it?
Doll face. Don't you know what's happened?
I think I do. My personality's burst out.
I'll say it has.
I was warned that someday it would. You desire me, huh?
I can't live without you, gorgeous.
But I love another. At least I think I do. Say, this may be my chance to find out. Would you care to take part in a very interesting scientific test?
Well, if it's with you, yes. I want you for my own darling for always and always.
Be careful. This may be mere infatuation on your part, although I doubt it.
No. It's the real thing. I know it is. What do you feel for me, dearest?
Amazement.
Is that all? I'm not so hard to take, Dreamboat. Look me over carefully.
You are kind of pretty.
How about my figure, lover boy?
It's quite female.
Thank you. Now, what's this test you're talking about?
Well, could you be at the Anderson boarding house around 8 tonight? We'll spend the evening just the way Mildred and I always do, listening to the radio. I'll know after that whether I love you or her.
Is that all you and this Mildred do when you're home alone? Listen to the radio?
Sure. When her folks are out, we can turn on any program we want to.
Well, I thought you and I might do something a little more exciting tonight, like playing games.
Okay, I'll have the Parcheesi board all set up.
Well, it's a date. And now can I use your phone, sweet stuff?
Oh, sure. There's one in the back of the store.
Thanks. I'll find it.
Hello.
Sam, this is Dixie. Listen, I got the prize sucker of all time.
Willoughby?
Better, a rich kid that's never been kissed or taken. Tonight he gets both.
We pull the old Banshee game, huh?
Right. I'll have in my arms at the Anderson boarding house on Elm. At 8:25, you rush in as the angry husband. We'll shake him down for every cent he's got.
Great, kid, great. I'll be there at 8:25 on the dot. Bye-bye.
Did you get your potty okay?
Oh, yes. I told my old gray-haired mother I'd be home a little late. Well, till tonight, Brown Eyes, you and I, all alone.
Gee, say, I don't even know your name.
It's Dixie, honey. And after tonight, you'll remember it for a long, long time. Good night, you beautiful hunk of... Oh.
Gosh, Mildred may be right. These may be the best years of my life. Hello? Yes, Mrs. Willoughby. No, ma'am. He left for the mountains 10 minutes ago. Ma'am? No, he left for the mountains 10 minutes ago to go fishing, and he hasn't come back yet. What? Ooh, what you said. Huh? Oh, in case he calls, you'll be at Mrs. Anderson's house? Okay, Mrs. Willoughby, I'll tell him. Bye, Mrs. Willoughby. Gee, was she mad. I'm going to wash out my ears with soap.
Borrow my husband? Why, Grace Willoughby, what on earth do you want with Herbert?
Remember the Bon Ton department store contest?
Yes?
Well, a refrigerator was the prize for the best 25 words from a husband and wife on why I shop at the Bon Ton. Well, I won. They notified me this morning.
Oh, how wonderful. What did you send in?
Well, I couldn't seem to think of anything brilliant, so I just wrote, if we win, we will pay our bill. They seem to like it.
Well, what's Herbert got to do with all this?
Well, the Bon Ton wants a picture of the winning husband and wife. No picture, no refrigerator. And where's my husband? Off fishing.
Well, can't they wait till he gets home?
The photographer's coming tonight so they can get out the publicity tomorrow. That's why I need Herbert.
But everyone at the Bon Ton knows Herbert, and they'll... Wait a minute. How about Dennis Day?
Dennis Day? Who'd believe I'm married to him? Besides, he'd blab it all over town.
Well, don't tell him what the picture's for. Flatter him into having it taken with you.
Flatter him?
Yes. You stay to dinner and tell the photographer to come over here right afterwards. And if he walks in and finds Dennis with his arms around you, he'll believe you two are married.
Well, I'll try it, but it's an awful thing to go through just to keep food cold.
Mr. Anderson, would you say I have a lure?
A lure, Dennis?
Yes, for one of the opposite sex. For instance, say a woman.
Well, you do look rather ravishing in your new Mickey Mouse sweatshirt. Why do you ask?
Well, last night Mildred told me other women would go for me, and today in the store one did. And tonight at dinner, Mrs. Willoughby kept staring at me so strangely.
Maybe there's something irresistible about the way you chew.
I don't think that's it.
Oh, no? Well, what then?
I'm afraid I'm a femme fatale.
Well, I doubt if you're the type, Dennis. However,
there you are, Dennis. Herbert, we'll go upstairs. I believe Mrs. Willoughby wants to be alone with Dennis.
See, Mr. Anderson, you better stay.
You're right, Dennis. I'm staying.
Herbert?
So long, Dennis. I'm leaving.
Come along, Herbert.
Lead the way, oh dream eternal.
Well, here we are, all alone. I guess you know that I like you a great deal, Dennis.
Well, here we go again.
Oh, but I do.
But you shouldn't, Mrs. Willoughby. You've got to fight it.
Fight it?
You're a married woman. You promised to love, honor, and cherish Mr. Willoughby. Start cherishing.
Why, Dennis, you seem to be under a false impression. I don't feel about you in that way at all.
You mean you're not in love with me?
No.
Is that possible?
It is. I think of you only as a very dear friend.
Well, what do you know?
And I hoped you felt the same way toward me, Dennis, because there's a little favor you could do for me if you would.
Oh, sure, gladly.
Well, I want to have our pictures snapped together for sentimental reasons.
Okay, you get a picture of you and I'll get one of me and we'll snap them together.
I mean, I'd like a picture of the two of us taken together.
Oh, well, I guess that can be arranged.
Oh, good. You have no idea how worried...
Oh, someone at the door. I better go...
No, don't get up. I know who it is. It's someone I've been expecting. Put your arms around me, quick.
Huh?
I said put your arms around me.
Mrs. Willoughby, I'm getting that false impression again.
Dennis, will you stop arguing and kiss me?
Kiss you?
Yes. Put your lips to mine and yell, "Come in."
It won't come out very clear.
Oh. Oh, well, for goodness sakes. All right, I'll answer it.
Hello, I'm from the Bonton department store. Mrs. Willoughby told me to come to this address and take a picture, that right?
Yes. Yes. My husband's in the next room. Will you follow me, please? Dennis, this gentleman is a photographer.
Boy, you sure are a woman of action. Well, I'm ready.
You, huh? I thought you'd be a much older man.
Me? Oh, no, I've never been any older than this.
Would you make this just as fast as you can, please? We haven't got much time.
Yes, ma'am, I'm all set. Put your arms around her, sir, and hold her as close as possible.
But isn't that kind of intimate?
Sure, that's the idea.
But suppose my girlfriend sees it. What'll she think?
Well, Dennis, we won't worry about that.
Say, you're really broad-minded, lady.
Please, let's just get on with the picture. We don't have very much... Oh.
Come in.
Dennis, darling.
Dixie.
Am I late?
Who's she?
Another girlfriend of mine, a different one.
Why ain't my family like this?
Dream boy, let's get rid of all these characters and listen to that radio.
Well, I like that.
Who's this old moose, gorgeous?
Dixie, please. This old moose happens to be my boss's wife.
Well, just take me in your arms, honey, and tell her to beat it.
Why, how dare you? I need Dennis, and I want him.
He's mine. I saw him first.
You did no such thing. I've known him for months.
Well, I won't give him up.
Gee, I'll never go out in public again without a mask on.
Dennis, tell this woman that you're mine.
Dennis, tell her you're mine.
I belong to all women, everywhere.
What would a sweet, intelligent boy like this want with a woman like you, anyway?
All I know is he's gorgeous, and I want him.
Well, he's much too fine a person to be fought over like this.
Yeah, I'm too fine a...
You shut up.
Excuse me.
This kind of interesting, you know?
I won't give this boy up, and that's final.
Nor will I. I mean every word of it.
What is all this noise I've been hearing? Dennis Day, come here.
I'm sorry, Mrs. Anderson, but you'll have to wait your turn.
What?
Well, I have...
Dennis!
Mildred.
Hey, Bud, you're going to get in trouble. You got a monopoly here.
What does all this mean, Dennis?
Mildred, it isn't my fault, honest. I've inflamed the mad desires of two women, and they can't control themselves.
Dennis, you mean you...
We should have sold tickets.
Oh, my gosh, it must be Sam.
Aha, you home wrecker. So I find you in a lonely rendezvous with 2 men and 4 women?
No, you, Sam, we're out of luck. Let's get out of here.
Well, say, come on.
I'm leaving, too. I should figure who's married to who in this setup.
Well, there goes my refrigerator, thanks to Dennis Day.
Me? Mrs. Willoughby, what
I shall speak to my husband about you, young man. Good night.
Mrs. Anderson, what did she...
Don't bother me. I'm going to bed.
Mildred, what are they all...
2 women? Oh, you beast, you cad. I never want to see you again.
Mildred, Oh, gosh. Well, I might as well go to bed, too. In fact, there's nothing else I can do. I think my personality went in again.
Dennis Day will be back in just a moment with a song. But first, here's a fact worth knowing.
Colgate Dental Cream cleans your breath while it cleans your teeth.
And that's important, as our Colgate players are going to demonstrate for you. Our curtain goes up on a young man who has just had a door slammed in his face and who is now getting similar rough treatment from none other than Dan Cupid.
Well, no use hanging around a door that's been slammed in your face, Bud. No use me hanging around either.
Oh, wait a sec, Dan. Give me the pitch.
Your girl gave you that when she slammed the door in your face, pal. Your language of love, Bud, she said scram.
But how come both you and Mary dropped me like a hot potato? Come on, Cupid, give.
Okay, Careless, here it is. Your girl's gone, and I'm going. Because you ought to have a serious talk with your dentist.
And here's what Bud found out. Scientific tests have proved that in 7 out of 10 cases, Colgate Dental Cream instantly stops unpleasing breath that originates in the mouth. What's more, Colgate Dental Cream Safe Polishing Agent brings out the natural sparkle of your teeth, cleans them thoroughly and safely.
Yes, Colgate Dental Cream cleans your breath while it cleans your teeth.
And Colgate Dental Cream is famous for its wonderful wake-up flavor, too. In fact, nationwide tests of leading toothpastes prove that Colgate Dental Cream is preferred for flavor over other brands tested.
So to clean your teeth thoroughly and safely, for a wake-up flavor everyone enjoys, use Colgate Dental Cream. Remember, Colgate Dental Cream cleans your breath while it cleans your teeth. Here's Dennis Day with Charles Dant and the orchestra to sing Life Can Be Beautiful.
Life can be beautiful. How do I know? Somebody beautiful just told me so. Life can be summertime when it's really fall. Love can come anytime, anytime at all. Nights can be heavenly. Take nights like this. What makes them heavenly? Only your kiss. Through all these many years, yes, I always knew that life could be with you.
Good night, everybody.
It's new, it's amazingly different. Not a liquid, not a soap, but an utterly new cream shampoo that leaves hair soft, radiant, glamorous, and also easy to manage. It's Luster Cream Shampoo created by Kay Dumit, who combined rich lanolin with secret ingredients. Use Luster Cream Shampoo and see how soft, how naturally lovely, how brilliantly alive and well-behaved your hair can be. Ask for Luster Cream Shampoo at cosmetic counters.
This is Vern Smith speaking and reminding you ladies to keep on saving cooking fats and oils. Use and reuse them as often as you can, and when they're no longer usable, save them in tin cans and turn them into your dealer. He'll pay you more for your used fats.
This is NBC, the National Broadcasting Company.
Another one of those shows I couldn't air because there was so much music on it, and it took a lot of editing when I did. An episode of A Day in the Life of Dennis Day from 77 years ago, February 12th. 1947 on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. A double shot of Fibber McGee and Molly will start off 78 years ago today in 1946, February 12th, about Fibber's new suit. That's next on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox.
If you are planning a new building, the architect can make inexpensive changes in his design to shield against the dangers of radioactive fallout. This technique is called design slanting, which simply means designing for added fallout protection without adversely affecting the use, appearance, or cost of a building. To learn more about slanting, contact your local civil defense director.
More comedy on our Tuesday edition of Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, a Jack Benny birthday episode from 1955, Halls of Ivy with Ronald and Benita Coleman, Bud Abbott and Lou Costello from 1947, Life with Luigi starring J. Carrol Naish from 1951, and an episode of Lum and Abner. Right now, a double shot of Fibber, McGee, and Molly. This first episode is going to be from 78 years ago today, February 12th, 1946, and Fibber is getting a new suit.
The Johnson Wax Program with Fibber McGee and Molly. The makers of Johnson's Wax products for home and industry present Fibber McGee and Molly. Histrionically helped by Bill Thompson, Gail Gordon, B. Benaderet, Arthur Q. Bryan, Jimmy Jordan, and the man with the stuff that polishes your things, me, Harlow Wilcox. The scripts can be blamed on Don Quinn and Phil Leslie, and the music department is managed by the King's Men and Billy Mills and his all-boy but one orchestra. Millions of housewives know that Johnson's Wax is unbeatable for beautifying your floors. But I have heard that in some homes, Johnson's Wax is used on the floors only. Well, what about the rest of your home? Perhaps you have a table you're especially proud of. Try waxing that, too. You'll be delighted to see how much more handsome it looks, how it glows with a smooth, satiny sheen, how the wax brings out the beautiful, natural grain. Notice how even the very first protective coat of Johnson's Wax on your radio cabinet, your sideboard, your ornaments and picture frames gives them a wonderful richness, a mellow glow that adds immeasurably to their beauty. You'll find, of course, that these things grow even lovelier with each wax application. They become better and better protected, too, against dirt, wear, and spilled things. So, by all means, Johnson Wax your floors for greater beauty and protection, but also make the rest of your home sparkling clean and beautiful with Johnson's Wax, paste, liquid, or cream. It's all very well for a man to laugh at the stuff cuff, the drape shape, and the replete. But when he begins to look like he dressed himself out of the war relief clothing barrel at the firehouse, it's time something was said about it, according to Mrs. McGee of Fibber McGee and Molly.
What's the matter with the way I dress, Molly?
Well, frankly, Pet, it's that tired old suit. Who made it, George Pullman?
What do you mean, George Pullman?
Looks like it had been slept in. That blue serge monstrosity has more bags in it than the Grand Central checkbook.
Oh.
The seat and elbows glare like an acre of broken bottles. When the fabric is so thin, it takes you 10 minutes to sit down.
Oh, it does.
And it fits like it had been made for a jockey and let out for Paul Whiteman.
Oh, it isn't so bad, Mommy. A blue serge suit always lasts a long time because they pick up so much lint. I've had as much wear out of the lint as I have out of the suit.
Well, now you simply got to buy a new one, McGee.
Oh, Molly, you know how I
And
hate to
that's why I called this tailor. He said he'd be over with some samples.
I still say that this... Who said who'd be over with what samples?
The tailor. He just opened a new shop next to the Bonton, and you need a new suit right now.
Oh, for the love of
I'm simply tired of walking around with a man whose suit looks like the back wall of a headlight.
Oh.
And this Mr. Gusset said...
Who?
Mr. Gusset, the tailor. He said... Oh, I'll bet that's him right now. Come in.
Is this the residence of the McGee? Oh, hello there, Miss McGee.
Good day, Mr. Gusset. McGee, this is Mr. Gusset. This is the husband I was telling you about, Mr. Gusset.
Now, look here, you two. I don't know what you've cooked up between you, but if you think I'm going to be jockeyed into buying a new suit that I don't want and don't need, by George...
It's amazing. That's what it is. Amazing.
What's amazing, Mr. Gusset?
The resemblance, Mrs. McGee. He has shoulders exactly like Herbert Marshall. Oh, it's going to be a distinct pleasure to fit him.
Flattery will get you no place, Bud. This whole thing is a frame-up, and I won't be... Herbert Marshall is taller than I am, ain't he?
Yes, slightly, Mr. McGee, but Actual height is not important. It's the build that counts. You know, the athletic type, the military posture, broad shoulders tapering down to slim hips.
Who we talking about now?
At a guess, Mr. McGee, I'd say you'd been, well, a colonel, military intelligence.
That's kind of hush-hush, bud. But let's see your samples, Gusset, old man. What have you got?
I'll tell you what. Suppose I look over your entire wardrobe, Mr. McGee, and then I can tell you better what you need.
That's a good idea, bud. Take a good look at it.
Is it upstairs?
No, it's right here. He's wearing it.
What?
He never worried much about his clothes, Mr. Gusset. Just as long as he can keep warm in the winter and not get arrested in the summer, he's content.
Well, then, I would suggest a good tweed suit, Mrs. McGee. You could wear the jacket with odd trousers for informal occasions.
Good idea, Gus. Have I got some odd trousers, Molly?
Odd is hardly the word, dear. Terrifying would be more accurate. Why, those green flannels you wear to take out the ashes are...
How about this sample right here, Mr. McGee? This is a genuine English tweed. I'd make it up in a single-breasted patch-pocketed style. Splendid utility garment.
We'll take that.
Hey, now, wait a minute. I can make my own selections. I ain't going to be railroaded into something that
I understand that it's Mr. Herbert Marshall's favorite material.
But he's taller, you said.
He also said the height wasn't important, Molly. It's the build that counts. You heard him say that. I'll take this one, bud. You don't think Herbert Marshall will mind?
I won't mention it to him, Mr. McGee. Besides, I'm sure you and he never attend the same... But now for the measurements. Let's see, where is my tape measure anyway? Oh, yes, here we are. Now, let's see, chest, 35. Take a deep breath, please, Mr. McGee. Chest expanded. 35. Very interesting. Waist, 41. Take another deep breath, please, Mr. McGee. Waist expanded, 46. Deep breather, aren't you, Mr. McGee?
Yeah. I got low lungs. That's why I don't catch cold when I leave my shirt collar open at the front.
Now then, let's see. Shoulders.
Yep.
21. Arms. Trousers length. Let's see. That's 16. Well, that does it.
Good.
Now then, would you like to make a deposit on this suit, Mr. McGee?
You want an honest answer?
Yes.
No.
How much will it be, Mr. Gusset?
$110, Mrs. McGee. My usual price is $150, but inasmuch as you're my first customers in Wistful Vista...
Now, just a darn minute, Bud. Did I hear you say $110?
You did.
Seems a little high to me.
High? Why, for $110, I could buy me a set of threads that would make Adolph Monju look like a bouncer at a barn dance. $110? Why, of all the...
May I make a suggestion, Mr. McGee?
Certainly, Mr. Gusset.
Better make one quick, Bud, before I make one.
As you know, I'm new here in Wistful Vista.
Yeah, and at these prices, you ain't going to get very old, too, either.
Let the man talk, dearie. Go on, Mr. Gusset.
I was about to suggest that should Mr. McGee, as my representative, unannounced, of course, send me, say, 10 customers, well, I shall be glad to make a suit free of charge.
What? If I send you 10 customers for suits, you... It's a deal.
Good.
Shake.
Right.
Music.
Billy Mills and the orchestra play Pin Marine.
Hey, Molly, you know what?
No, what?
I already got 4 customers for new suits. Maury Needham, Jeff Lewis, Mel Brorby, and Willie Conley.
I didn't know you knew that many people with $110.
Well, I've been putting on quite a telephone campaign. I got a sales talk worked up that gets them.
Get out the breadcrumbs, McGee. Here comes a pigeon.
Watch me sell them a suit. Come in.
Oh, hello there, Dr. Gamble. Come right in.
Hello, my dear. And good afternoon, Knuckle Noodle.
Hi, Medicine Chest. What's new on the germicide of the world?
Nothing startling, Beaver knows. What's cooking in your dull little life?
Well, you know, I've just talked him into getting a new suit, Doctor.
No.
Yes, sir. And if I may make a suggestion to our kindly old family physician, ain't it about time you shook yourself loose from that bundle of burlap you're wearing? You look like a delegate to the Hobos Convention. I don't know where that suit hides during the branding season, but it sure ain't ever felt a hot iron.
Oh, I don't think the doctor looks so bad, McGee. Not that any man couldn't choose a new suit now and then.
Well, thanks, Molly, but who is little Jazzbo Brummel to talk? He always looks like an unmade bed in a 50-cent flop house. That blue serge of his shines like a good deed in a naughty world.
Well, I'm doing something about my appearance, Ether Drum. I'm getting a new suit.
Oh.
But you'll go on wearing that sideshow canvas of yours for the next 18 years, I suppose.
Frankly, Doctor, I imagine you're so busy these days you haven't much time to give to your appearance, huh?
I've got just as much time as this little bloater, my dear. And when I get a new suit, I won't get one of his $18 walk upstairs and save $3 2 pants affairs with a Daisy Air Rifle Premium. I'll go to a decent tailor and lay it on the line for a quality product.
Oh, yeah. If you ever had to shell out $110 for a suit, you couldn't see the checkbook through your tears.
Now, wait a minute, Jughead. Are you getting a $110 suit?
Yes, he is, Doctor. The tailor was just here measuring him up.
Guy by the name of Gusset, next to the Bonton, Doc.
Well, I'm going right down there and order 2 suits. Anything you can do, McGee, I can do better, quicker, oftener, and at higher prices. See you later, Molly.
Fine, Doctor. Now remember the name Gusset next to the Bonton.
Yeah, and if you want extra pants, Doc, mention my name and get a good seat.
McGee, your name wouldn't be good for credit for a hot rock in Death Valley. But it'll be interesting to see the reaction. So long now.
Hot dog, that's 5 customers. 5 more and I get a suit free.
No, it's 6, McGee. Huh? Dr. Gamble says he's getting 2 suits.
Oh, wonderful. 6 down and 4 to go. Now, let me see. Who else could I talk to?
Well, there's no use talking to Mr. Wilcox.
Huh?
He's got enough clothes now to take the heart out of Schaffner and Marx.
And he's just the guy to sell a new suit to do. Yeah. A dude like him won't be able to resist the...
Come in.
Hello there, kid.
Oh, hi, old-timer.
Hello, Mr. Blasingame. You look like you'd had a chill. You're shaking like a loose fender. Where have you been?
Hey!
She says where...
Been down under the river, kids. In a diver's helmet.
Under the river?
Yep. Believe me, it's colder than a witch's broom handle down there.
What were you looking for under the river? Lose your dentures off the bridge or something?
Hey!
He said,
Nope. Just writing a letter to my mother, kids. She lives back in Turkey Run, Indiana, and
Now, wait a minute. That don't make sense, old-timer. Diving into the river to write a letter.
Why don't it, Johnny? I got one of them pens for Christmas that writes underwater. Thought I'd try it out.
You could have written a much longer letter, too. They don't have to be refilled for 2 years. Did you do any deep-sea diving while you were in the Seabees, Mr. Oldtimer?
Hey!
Did you do
Lots of it, kids. Spent so much time under the water, I got gills on my neck.
Gills on your neck?
Yep, Gills. He was our skipper. Old Lieutenant Commander Gills. He was on my neck all the time for spending so much time under the water.
Oh.
What do you want to spend so much time down there for, he says. And I says, well, sir, I says, I've been playing cribbage with a mermaid and just won a couple of fins. Well, sir, he laughs fit to bust and slaps me in the brig on bread and water he says I was impudent.
Hey, you want to buy a swell suit of civvies?
Hey!
Would you like
sure would, kids. Where?
Gusset, next to the Bonton, $110. Tell him I sent you.
Okay. After the way these clothes fit, it'll be nice to get a miner's suit on again.
A miner's suit?
Yep. One with a little slack in the pants. See you later, kid.
Well, there's 7, McGee. You only need 3 more.
I got Wilcox checked off. I can talk Wilcox into one. Flattery. Flattery'll do it. I'll butter him like a pre-war waffle. Then if I can get Latrivia and Wimple, I'm all set. I got a suit
You
for
better make it Mrs. Wimple. She wears the trousers in that family.
Oh.
And besides, dearie.
Hello, folks.
Oh, hello, Mr. Wilcox. Do come in.
Hi, Junior. I had a feeling you'd drop in sometime today.
That's like having a hunch that Easter will come on a Sunday.
Did you want to see me about something, pal?
Yeah. How are you fixed for suits?
Gee, I'm glad you asked me that. I've noticed you were looking pretty seedy lately, but I didn't want to say anything. Come over sometime and pick out a couple, pal. They can easily be cut down to fit you.
No, Mr. Wilcox. He didn't mean for himself.
He didn't?
Certainly not. I want to know if you need any.
That's a silly question. Yours wouldn't fit me.
Look, Mr. Wilcox. Nobody's talking about giving anybody any old clothes. McGee wants to know if you're thinking of buying any new suits.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you how it is, Molly. I'm always buying new clothes, partly because I like them and partly because I think it's good business to dress well.
Yeah, well, the reason I asked...
You see, when I go into people's homes and offices as a representative of Johnson's Wax, I want especially to appear like I have a quality product to offer, which I have.
Yes, but we were...
You see, when the finest homes in America use Johnson's Wax on their floors and furniture and woodwork, windowsills and luggage and 100 other things, well, it just doesn't behoove me to dress like an itinerant peddler.
Yeah, but what that got to do
Gee
with...
whiz, pal, Johnson's Wax is known the world over as the answer to protective housekeeping.
Yeah, but...
A waxed surface is a surface protected against dampness and dust and wear.
Yeah, but what...
And it represents fine hospitality, too. That film of Johnson's Wax is the largest welcome mat in the world.
Yes, we know,
That's why I always like to look my best. You judge a home by its appearance, and you judge a man by his appearance. That's why I'm always buying new clothes.
If you think you've nailed down your paycheck for this week, Waxy, may I say a word?
Why, please do.
Oh, look, Mr. Wilcox, there's a new tailor in town, a Mr. Gussett, next door to the Bonton.
Yeah.
Makes wonderful men's suits for $110, and you're a wonderful man.
You go in there and mention my name, Junior, and you'll get treated right. How about it?
Just opened up, did he?
Just this week.
Right next to the Bonton, eh?
Right next door. Gussett's the name. You going to go see him?
Bet I am, pal. Be there in half an hour.
How many suits do you think he'll buy, Mr. Wilcox?
Oh, I don't need any suits, but he'll need some Johnson's Wax for that new shop of his. Thanks for the tip, pal.
Well, ring up one, no sale, McGee.
Oh, I think Wilcox will buy one. He's an actor at heart, and when he smells a bolt of flannel, it'll look like smoke to a fire horse. Did I say that right?
Yeah.
Did you hear about him wiring Hollywood?
No, about what?
He wanted to try out for that new picture, The Robe.
Yeah?
He thought it was going to be called The Wardrobe and wanted the title role.
Oh.
Yeah, but they said that...
Come in. Well, for goodness sakes, if it isn't Mrs. Carstairs. Hello, Millicent.
How do you do, my dear? Good day, Mr. McGee.
Hi, Carsty. Understand you had the flu. You feel better now?
Yes, thank you. My household has had quite a siege of it, you know.
So?
First Marie, my upstairs maid, had it, and then Mr. Carstairs, and then I.
Well, it's hard to keep germs on one floor of a house, Millicent.
Yes. Oh, Mr. Carstairs.
Who took care of you, Millicent? Dr. Gamble?
Oh, yes, he's a splendid physician. He treated my husband for a horse, Charlie.
You mean Charlie Horse?
No, a horse Charlie Adams gave him that had the heaves.
Now, wait a minute. Who was sick? Your husband, the horse, or Charlie Adams?
I was, of the whole thing.
Speaking of heaves, were you awfully sick with the flu, Millie?
Oh, indeed I was, Mr. McGee. The first day Mr. Carstairs took my temperature, I knew I was ill.
Oh, what did it read, Millicent?
3 degrees above freezing.
3 degrees above freezing?
Yes. Mr. Carstairs took my temperature, but he had to walk down to Kramer's drugstore to have the thermometer read. Well, I must be going. Good day.
The King's Men and Old Rocking Chairs got me.
Old rocking chairs got me, no doubt about it. Came by my side, can't do without it. Fetch me down them slippers, boy, quick, before I tan your hide. Can't get from there this cabin, I ain't never going away nowhere. Just set me here grabbing at the flies round my rocking chair. My dear old Aunt Harriet, I know that way up in heaven she be. Oh, send me down the sweet chariot, for the end of my trouble I see. Old rocking chair gets it, I do believe that Judgment Day is here. Chained to my old rocking chair, rocking chair, rocking chair, rocking chair, rocking chair. Old rocking chair's got me, can't hear them a sigh. Oh, the way I want to dream, son, don't want to tan your hide. Can't get from this cabin, can't go nowhere. Just set me here a-grabbing at the flies around my rocking chair. My dear Aunt Harriet, in heaven she be. Send me down, sweet chariot, for the end of my trouble, the end of my trouble I see. Oh, Judgment Day is here. At last I'm gonna leave this old rocking chair, rocking chair, rocking chair, rocking chair, rocking chair.
Well, how many more suits do you have to sell before you get one free for yourself, dearie?
Well, let me look at my list. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8.5.
8.5?
Yeah. More toops only wanted a pair of pants. So if I can find only... Who's that, man or woman?
Man.
Bring him in, quick.
Come in. Oh, good day, Mayor Latrivia.
Good day, Mrs. McGee. Hello, McGee.
Hi, Latrivia. You're just the guy I wanted to see.
If it's about our date to go bowling tonight, McGee, I can't make it. I just dropped by to tell you.
Pressure of business, Mr. Mayor?
Oh, you might call it that, Mrs. McGee. I am attending a Boy Scout meeting at the East Side High School tonight.
Oh, trying for your merit badge and ballot box stuffing, Latrivia?
McGee, it doesn't matter a jot nor a tittle to me what you think of my political activities, but I resent any inference that the Boy Scout movement tolerates anything unethical. I consider the Scout movement one of the greatest forces for good citizenship in the world today. And on this, their 36th anniversary, I think they're entitled to the respect and goodwill of everyone as boys who will grow into our leaders of tomorrow.
Oh, well, McGee was just kidding, Mr. Mayor.
Sure. Great bunch of kids, Latrivia. You going to make a speech to them tonight?
Well, I'm giving them a little demonstration of the things I learned in the Coast Guard, McGee.
Such as what, Mr. Mayor?
Well, for instance, knot tying.
Not tying what?
Just knot tying.
Well, then, what's the use of going at all if you're not tying anything?
But I am tying anything. Something.
What?
Knots!
Oh, please, Mr. Mayor.
You're addressing a lady, Latrivia.
Thank you, dearie.
Well, I said nothing that would offend a lady, McGee. I merely stated that I was giving a demonstration of knot tying.
You mean you're not giving a demonstration of tying?
Yes. No! Don't be silly. Look, in the Coast Guard, I learned a great deal about tying knots. Square knots, bowlines, various hitches, sheepshanks, Turk's heads, monkey fists, grannies.
Whose?
Grannies.
My gosh, was she in the Coast Guard, too? I should think that'd be a pretty hard life for an old lady.
I was speaking of a granny knot.
Oh, yeah, I see. Knot was your mother's maiden name.
It was not.
That's what she said. It was not.
I mean, it was not.
Who's there?
Arthur.
Arthur who?
Are there any more routines like this coming up? If so, include me out.
Oh, you forgot to ask him about getting fitted for a new suit, dearie.
The only fit he was ready for was to be tied. I can get another couple of customers someplace. Hand me that phone. I'll resume my campaign.
Here.
Thanks. Hello, operator. Give me Wistful Vista 765. For the love of Mike, is that you, Mert?
Oh.
How's every little thing, Mert? Tis, eh? What's that, Mert? He did? Oh, gee, I'm sorry, Mert. Cut his tail right off, huh?
Oh, how awful. Her dog, McGee?
No, her uncle. He was telling her a story over the phone and got disconnected. What's that, Mert? Okay, connect me. Hello, is this Eddie? This is Fibber McGee, Eddie. Look, I got a great idea if you need a new suit, Eddie. There's a new tailor named Gus. Just go. When you go in, ask for me. Yeah. Okay, Bert. You just go in and tell Gus that I sent you. Don't mention it, Bert. Goodbye. Oh, boy, am I tired. Does my arm ache? I must have made 40 calls. But I done it, Molly. I done it. I got 10 guys to buy new suits.
Well, that's fine, dearie.
Yeah.
But why are you sitting around in your bathrobe?
Well, I sent my old suit to the relief collection. It was looking so shabby I hated even to talk to people over the phone in it. I got nothing to do for a couple of days anyway, and by that time I'll have my new suit.
Oh, will he deliver it?
Well, my gosh, he better after me sending him all that business, spending all that time. I'll call him up and see.
I'll do it, McGee. You've been on the phone all afternoon. You just sit down and relax.
Yeah, I am tired. Thanks.
Hello, operator. Wistful Vista 1247, please.
Yeah, that's a number.
Hello, Mr. Gussett. Mrs. McGee speaking.
Ah, he's there.
Mr. McGee wants to know how soon his suit will be ready. Yeah? Yeah? Huh? What? Oh, that's all right, Mr. Gussett. He was glad to do it.
Yeah.
He said to thank you for sending him all those customers, dearie.
When did he say mine would be ready?
When did you say Mr. McGee's suit would be ready, Mr. Gussett? March 1st.
March 1st?
Yes, he said you'd send him so much business he was terribly busy.
Oh.
And naturally, the paying customers come first.
Yeah, well, I guess that's reasonable, too. March 1st, eh?
Yes, 1947.
19... Oh, boy, a whole year. Now I can finish Anthony Adverse.
I'll bet you can think of many products you insist on using just because they are superior. Johnson's Glow Coat, for example. More women use Glow Coat on their kitchen linoleum floors than any other self-polishing wax. They agree that its extra toughness guards linoleum better against wear, dirt, and spilled things, so that its bright colors and attractive patterns stay new looking longer. If you've never tried this most popular of all wax floor polishes, you'll find Glow Coat astonishingly easy to use. There's no rubbing or buffing at all. Just spread it around on the floor, let it dry, and your work is done. Glow Coat shines as it dries. In only 20 minutes, your floors are ready to use and amazingly clean and sparkling, never streaked or uneven. For greater floor beauty and greater floor protection, be sure to ask for Glow Coat, Johnson's self-polishing Glow Coat.
What on earth is... Come in.
Somebody here called for an ambulance?
Oh, yeah, I did, Bud. Take me down to Gussett's tailor shop, will you? Next door to the Bonton.
What is this, McGee? Why the ambulance?
Well, all I got to wear is a bathrobe. I'd look kind of funny on the streetcar.
I thought you said somebody was going to the hospital.
Somebody is, a guy by the name of Gussett. I'll see you later, Molly. Good night.
Good night.
This is Harlow Wilcox, speaking for the makers of Johnson's Wax Products for Home and Industry, inviting you all to be with us again next Tuesday night. Good night.
This is NBC, the National Broadcasting Company.
Alrighty, Fibber, McGee, and Molly from 78 years ago today, February 12th, 1946. We're going to have another episode of Fibber, McGee, and Molly, a quarter-hour show now, from February 12th, 1954, 70 years ago today. But that'll be coming up following these important messages. You're listening to Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox.
This is basic civil defense information from the Department of Defense, Office of Civil Defense, Washington. There's one easy, sensible thing your family should do to prepare for a possible time of emergency. Set aside a few simple, basic supplies you'll need to take to the public fallout shelter. Supplies to help keep you and your family alive and well in event of enemy attack. For instance, any special medicines or diet foods required by members of the family, insulin, heart tablets, baby food, and other infant supplies, blankets, a battery-powered radio, a flashlight, extra batteries. And if the nearest public shelter hasn't been stocked yet with emergency rations and supplies, you'll need to take as much food and water as you can carry. Emergency supplies are needed for a private home shelter, too. Lay in enough food, canned or packaged and preferably pre-cooked, for 2 weeks, plus enough drinking water in tightly kept containers or jars to give each person at least a quart a day or more. For help in making up a list of needed supplies, consult your local Civil Defense office.
Now on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, the back half of our promised pair from Fibber McGee and Molly. This episode from their quarter-hour era from February 12, 1954, 70 years ago today.
The Fibber McGee and Molly Show. Every weekday at this time, NBC brings you Fibber, McGee, and Molly transcribed. The show is written by Phil Leslie and Ralph Goodman and directed by Max Hutton. We'll join Fibber and Molly in just a moment. Each day, every American lives a miracle. You find that miracle in your daily life, in the amazing fact that every worker is laboring to supply the needs of every other worker. As if by magic, you find your newspaper and milk on the doorstep in the morning. You find transportation and shops and services to meet every desire. And the miracle of all this is that none of it happens under compulsion. It all happens voluntarily. But that's part of another miracle, the miracle of the whole American economic system, the system that has created the most productive nation on earth. We enjoy the highest standard of living in all history, and we've only begun. We know that our standard of living will rise still higher, bringing us more benefits and leisure time as we produce more goods. And while we have made ourselves stronger economically, we have retained the basic freedoms of each individual. We work where we choose. We bargain collectively, contract our own affairs, and profit from our own inventiveness and enterprise. Yes, that's the American economic system. Since Mr. McGee of 79 Wistful Vista took over the renting of the house next door, he's been a pretty busy man. People have been dropping in and the phone keeps ringing, but the matter of finding the right kind of tenant is not as easy as he thought. He's on the phone right now.
Yes, and besides that, there's a large fenced yard and a nice patio in the back, and we live right next door, so if anything goes wrong with your boiler or if the roof leaks again like it did before, I'm right here to stuff some rags in there until the storm blows over. And, you wouldn't be interested. I see. Well, no harm trying. Goodbye.
Who was that?
Wrong number.
Wrong number.
Yeah. That guy's called 4 times this week asking for Eunice Petrosky. I thought while I had him on the phone, I'd tell him about the house.
Oh, he'd make a fine neighbor.
Mm-hmm.
He could run over here every day to borrow a cup of sugar and Eunice Petrosky.
Yeah. Well, he sounds like a nice guy, and we want to get the right kind of a tenant for Mr. Ingram.
Yes, and as soon as possible, too.
Yep.
I wish you had rented it to that first couple who came by this morning. They were the nicest people we've seen so far.
Sure.
Well, what was the matter with them?
They were the first ones to come. That's what was the matter with them. My gosh, kiddo, you never take the first deal that comes along. That'd be like walking into a used car lot and buying the first car they showed you. Be like marrying the first guy that asks you.
That's what I did.
Well, I might have been the first guy to ask you, but you made me ask you 17 times, though. If that first couple comes back 17 times, I'll rent the house to them. I'm just screening all the applicants, that's all.
Personally, I wish you'd throw away your screen and use a net. I'd like to see you catch one at this point.
Don't worry, I'll find the right tenants before the day is over. And when I see them, I'll know. There'll be a certain look in their eyes that tells me they're quiet, honest, trustworthy, loyal, clean, and reverent.
I don't know. How many Boy Scouts rent houses these days?
Okay, Molly, scoff if you want to. D-right. But by George, you'll see. And don't forget, I'm making a fat $20 a month commission on this deal every month. And that is not hay.
No, but you'll probably work like a horse to earn it. Here we go again. Now, you answer it this time, McGee. I have to get dinner started.
Okay. Oh, there goes a good kid. Even though she didn't want me to take this deal, she's on my side. But if it don't turn out right, she'll be on my neck, so I'd better... Yes?
How do you do, sir? Are you the people who have that house next door that's for rent?
Well, I'm one of the people, yes. McGee is my name.
Well, Hartford is mine. J.P. Hartford.
Well, I'm glad to meet you, J.P. Before I ask you in, do you have any pets?
Oh, no, sir. My wife can't stand too much excitement or noise.
Good.
She's out in the car. That Cadillac parked in your driveway.
Oh, Cadillac, huh? Well, come in, won't you?
I better wipe my feet first. It's damp out.
Oh, sure. You're pretty neat, aren't you?
Well, I do hate to get things dirty.
Yeah. Well, you just keep wiping and step in when you're through. I'll get my wife. Hey, Molly. Psst.
What is it?
I found them. The right tenants.
You did?
Listen how neat that guy is. See him wiping his feet at the door there?
Oh, yeah.
Well, it's just him and his wife. No pets. They drive a nice new Cadillac, and anybody who's as neat as he is... Well, hurry up, come on and meet him. This looks like it. Come on.
Oh, goodness, I hope so.
Mr. Hartford, this is my wife, Molly.
How do you do, I'm sure?
Well, I'm thoroughly charmed, Mrs. McGee. Now, about that house. As I understand it, the place has 2 bedrooms and a den, and, oh, yes, I can see from here a nice enclosed yard.
Yeah, we're asking $125 a month, Mr. Hartford.
$125. Well, it looks like a nice place. Completely furnished?
Everything but the groceries. There's been a lot of people begging us to let them have it, of course, but we've been waiting for the right people to come along, and you look to us like them.
Yes, if you're interested in the place, Mr. Hartford, we'll be happy to let you have it.
Oh, I'm delighted, Mrs. McGee. And Mrs. Hartford and I will do the best we can with it. Now, if you two will just sign this contract assuring me of my commission...
Your commission? Wait a minute. Aren't you looking for a house to rent, to live in?
Oh, no, sir. We're rental agents.
Rental agents?
What? Why?
Certainly. Ordinarily, I don't fool with small deals like this, but the Cadillac isn't paid for yet, and I...
Why,
Hey, now, wait a minute. Why? Take your hands off me. Now. Stop
Oh, McGee, turn the man loose. McGee.
And you get your dirty old Cadillac out of my driveway. Of all the phony four-flushing trying to steal my commission.
Back to Wistful Vista in a minute. One of the most precious freedoms guaranteed to us by our Constitution and by our way of life is the freedom to worship as we please. Faith in God has always been a cornerstone in American democracy, and since our first beginnings, America's religious institutions have strengthened the fabric of our daily lives. Among other things, religious faith stabilizes the family and holds it together. Attendance at churches and synagogues builds the moral and spiritual character of our people and helps them to be tolerant, responsible citizens. Religious leaders have always been distinguished in the giving of personal guidance to those with pressing problems. In our armed services, chaplains of all faiths give comfort and moral armament to those who fight for freedom. Clearly, then, religion plays a great role in our way of life, a role that grows in importance each day in a world where moral and spiritual values are too easily exchanged for material and selfish values. We urge you, therefore, to attend church or synagogue with your families regularly and to support your community church during the current Religion in American Life campaign.
Oh, dear, there it goes again. 79 Wistful Vista, Molly McGee speaking. Yes, we're the people who have that house for rent. Well, I'd rather you discuss all that with my husband. He's the one who takes care of that.
It's me, kiddo.
Oh, here he comes now. He was showing the house to a prospective tenant.
Who is it?
Did you rent the house yet, dearie?
No, let me talk to them.
You did? Then these people are too late. Well, I'm sorry, but the house is already rented. Better luck next time.
Hey, what'd you hang up for? I told you I didn't have
Some college students wanted to move in.
Well, what's wrong with college students?
Well, 30 of them.
Oh.
They wanted to turn the place into a fraternity house. Said this looked like a nice, quiet neighborhood for initiations.
Oh. Oh, but there's one thing, it's another. You know that nice little man, the bachelor who was just in here that I just showed the house to? He turned it down.
What was the trouble? Was the house too big?
No. Said the bathtub was too small.
What?
Mm-hmm. You know that pet he was talking about? The one that sits up and begs?
Yeah.
Trained seal.
Oh, dear. And you almost rented it to him.
Yeah.
You know, we could get ourselves into a terrible mess with Mr. Ingram's house, McGee. I wish you hadn't gotten into this thing.
Why, what's wrong with picking myself up an easy $20 every month just for letting a tenant trot over here and bring me the rent money when it's due?
What tenant? We've had 18 people here so far, and...
There'll be more. Incidentally, while I was over at Ingram's house this time, I checked that attic door, just to make sure it was locked. It was.
I know.
How did you?
I checked it myself this morning. Just to be sure. We promised the man we wouldn't open it, and we won't.
Where'd you hide that attic key? Come on, Molly. Come on, where?
We're not going to go back on our word. We promise.
Yeah, but gee whiz, Molly, we don't know too much about old man Ingram, you know. What if it turned out he had a trunk full of counterfeit money up there or something?
Leave it there. With your luck, sweetheart, I can just see you standing in that attic with a trunk full of counterfeit greenbacks as the police come charging up the stairs, firing off their pistols and shouting, "Ha-ha! We caught you green-handed." No, sir, we made a promise.
Oh, hey, I'll bet that's Professor Schnabel. I'll let him in.
Who?
Professor Schnabel called about the house. He's a retired scientist, a zoologist.
A what?
A zoologist. You know, he studies zoos. He's taken a few months off to write a book, and I told him how Ingram's house is a kind of a temporary rental, so he was...
You better let him in before he changes his mind.
Yeah. Professor Schnabel?
Yeah, I was beginning to think it was my bad memory again, and I had the wrong house.
No, this is right. Come in, won't you?
Well, if it is all right, I just like to see the house. I have an appointment in a half hour with Mr. Einstein.
Albert Einstein?
No, Irving Einstein, mein Baba.
Oh, yeah, well, certainly. We won't delay you. Now, here are the keys, McGee. Show the professor the house.
Certainly. After you, Professor.
Thank you.
You'll find that everything is just perfect for a book writer. Pencil sharpener in the den and all the Hey, Molly. Hey, kiddo. Where are you?
Here in the kitchen. Did the professor like the place?
Like it. He's crazy about it.
Oh, good.
Oh, boy, what a break. A quiet little guy who just sits around writing a book all day. And a scientist besides. Somebody I can have long intellectual chats with in the evening.
Then he's going to take it?
Oh, looks like it. He's just getting some kind of a bone out of his car, and he's coming right in.
Some kind of a bone?
Yeah, I couldn't make out what he was saying. You know how hard it is for them foreign guys to pick up the English idiomatic. It ain't easy language to master.
No, it sure ain't.
What the triple-deckered holy smoke is that?
I don't know. He didn't hit a dog when he drove in the driveway, did he?
I hope not. My gosh, does that sound awful. Maybe somebody...
I hope the professor didn't hear it. He may change his mind if it's noisy here.
Yeah.
You know, that house is perfect. Wunderbar. I take it.
Ah, you hear that, Molly? We now have a scientist for our next-door neighbor. Professor, I and you will have lots of enervating conversations together. We'll work out...
McGee.
Huh?
Remember that bone you mentioned that he was getting out of his car? What is that under his arm?
A trombone. My gosh, that noise was him.
Oh, folks, you don't need to worry about this. With me, the trombone is just a hobby.
Yeah, but...
No, I don't play it in the daytime. Just a few hours at night when everybody's asleep and I play soft and sweet like this.
Oh, no.
Heavenly days.
Oh, this is discouraging.
Fibber and Molly will be right back. More. Yes, there's more great new entertainment now on the NBC Radio Network with a host of exciting new programs introduced during the past month on this station. You'll hear many of these fine new shows when you keep tuned to this station during the weekend that's coming up. And you'll continue to hear such marvelous programs as the NBC Symphony Orchestra, which continues to thrill audiences from coast to coast in its live broadcasts from New York's Carnegie Hall. Throughout the week, you'll hear some of the finest radio entertainment on the air when you tune your dial to this NBC spot. More Americans enjoy One Man's Family, the news of the world, and Fibber, McGee, and Molly than any other 5 times a week program according to nationwide surveys. And that's just an indication of the great programming presented for your listening pleasure on your own local NBC station. When you turn on your radio receiver, always tune first to the spot where you hear the familiar NBC chimes, your invitation to the finest of all radio listening.
Well, here comes another weekend.
Yeah, but I'm not worried. We'll find the exact right kind of tenants for that house yet.
Mm-hmm.
You watch and see. If I don't get that house rented over this weekend, you know what I'm going to do?
What?
Try again Monday.
Oh.
Yeah. Good night.
Good night, all.
NBC has brought you the Fibber, McGee, and Molly program, transcribed with Jack Crucian as Professor Schnabel. This is John Wald inviting you to be with us again Monday night for another visit with Fibber, McGee, and Molly.
Oh, we have fun with them, don't we? I think those quarter-hour shows are just great. 70 years ago, February 12, 1954, Fibber, McGee, and Molly. We'll go all the way back 82 years ago to February 12, 1942 next as we go to Pine Ridge, Arkansas for a visit with Lum and Abner.
What's with the basket, Mom? Picnic?
Nope, this is Grandma's pantry, modern version.
Great, Mom. Only what's it for?
Civil defense. And you're the one who brought the idea home from scout meeting. Here, help me check off the list. Fruit juice?
Yup.
Powdered milk?
Right.
Canned meats?
Into civil defense comes Grandma's pantry, the symbol of preparedness. Unexpected company? Grandma always had plenty for everyone.
No matter what unexpected disaster, your family should have a 7-day supply of food on hand, kept well protected in jars or tins, and safe in a shelter area.
In an emergency or during evacuation in case of enemy attack, it's too late to plan. You will have to depend on your own resources, on Grandma's pantry.
Assure the future. Know the 6 steps to survival. Make this year your family's year for civil defense. You take the first step.
Civil defense, an American tradition.
Tomorrow on Classic Radio Theater, more comedy with Jack Benny, The Hulls of Ivy, Ronald and Benita Coleman, Bud Abbott and Lou Costello, Life with Luigi, starring J. Carrol Nash, and another visit to Pine Ridge to see what's going on with Lum and Abner and Diogenes Smith. And let's see what's going on today with Lum and Abner in this episode from February 12th, 1942, 82 years ago today.
The makers of Alka-Seltzer bring you Lum and Abner. Say, folks, how'd you like to do us a favor? Well, actually, you'll be doing yourself a favor, too, if you'll remember these 2 things. Now, first, we hope you'll always try to listen to Lum and Abner's story of all the doings down in Pine Ridge. For if you do, you know you'll be putting yourself in line to enjoy some real homespun humor. And second, we hope you'll remember to try Alka-Seltzer the very next time a headache comes along to slow you down on the job or to keep you from going places and really enjoying yourself. Now, the first time you try Alka-Seltzer for a headache, we believe you'll be so impressed with the fast way it acts that you'll be an Alka-Seltzer booster from then on. Folks, you'll never know how much better Alka-Seltzer can make you feel until you try it. And say if your headache's accompanied by an upset stomach, remember Alka-Seltzer can bring you quick relief for a sour, upset stomach, too. Be sure to give Alka-Seltzer a chance to be your friend in need whenever either of these common complaints plague you. You'll feel better fast. Ask your druggist about Alka-Seltzer and see what he says. And now, let's see what's going on down in Pine Ridge. Well, the feed room of the Jot 'em Down store is now completely furnished and ready for Diogenes Smith to move in with his printing press. The old fellows are quite confident that this generous move on their part will give them a decided advantage in the contest to win the $10,000 which Diogenes is offering to the most honest, kind, and generous person in Pine Ridge. As we look in on the little community, we find Lum in the Jot 'em Down store and library, and Abner has just entered. Listen.
Well, morning, Abner.
Morning, Lum. Hi, doggies, ain't you down awful early this morning?
Early? Well, I've been here for 3 hours already.
3 hours?
Yes, sir. And what's more, I sat up till might nigh 10 o'clock last night working on these pamphlets. Granny, I'm wore to a frazzle already. Wore to a frazzle.
Well, that's too bad you have to do so much work. Pamphlets? Did you say you was working on pamphlets?
Yeah, Granny's, Abner. This is the best one idea I ever studied up. I've decided to become a sort of a helper for Diogenes.
Huh?
I'm going to help him write them pamphlets he puts out. I might even help him print them, I don't know.
Well, does he want somebody to help him?
Well, I never heard him say he did, but I reckon he does.
Uh-huh.
And I figured as long as he's going to be printing his stuff back there in the feed room, it'd be right handy for me to be his assistant.
Yeah.
I could think up ideas on right living and stuff while I'm working in the store here, and then go back and run the printing press while Diogenes is out to lunch or something.
Yeah, that's a good idea, Long.
And as if that don't put me in solid with Diogenes, I don't know what will.
Yeah, sure, I believe I'll start thinking up some ideas for pamphlets, too.
Well, I don't believe you're cut out for such work as that, Abner. You better leave this to me. Besides, I don't think it'd look right for both of us to be doing it.
Well, why wouldn't it?
Oh, you know, one thing and another, it just wouldn't look good, that's all. Diogenes might suspicion we're just trying to win the $10,000 prize.
Well, ain't we?
Yeah, but we got to be more subtle about it. Besides, I've got enough pamphlets writ up here to last Diogenes a couple of weeks at least. Here, let me read some of them to you.
Well, I don't see why I can't think up of some ideas too long.
This one's called Him Who Is Honest Will Triumph by Diogenes Smith and Honest Lum.
Honest Lum?
Yeah, don't you recollect? That's what I'm calling myself now.
Oh.
Listen to this. When a feller is still a young'un, he ought to practice telling the truth so that again he gets to be a grown man.
I wish I could have some other name during the contest.
Abner, are you listening to this or not?
I'm listening. Him who is honest will triumph. I hear that. But I think I ought to have a name too, Lum. Like, Honest Abner, or Honest Ab. That sounds like Honest Abe. Reckon I ought to just take the name of Lincoln for the contest?
Oh, of course not.
Well, Lincoln was known for being awful honest.
Of course he was, but that ain't going to help you no way.
Ain't, huh?
Listen, Abner, I've been studying about this contest, and here's how I got it figured out. Just one feller can win that $10,000 for being the most honest, kind, and generous and helping person in Pine Ridge. So there ain't no use for both of us to try for it.
Ain't, huh?
Well, natural, both of us can't win, so why don't we pull together and both help one of us win the prize? That way we'll have a heap better chance to win.
Yeah, I reckon we would.
And since I've already started using the name of Honest Lum, and besides that I'll have the inside track by helping Diogenes with his pamphlets, I figure I ought to be the one to win.
Well, now, wait a minute.
Honest Lum.
Honest Lum, I'm just as kind and helping-handed as you are.
Well, of course you are, Abner, but if we concentrate on me and work together instead of fighting against one another, we'll be mighty nigh sure winning. Don't forget that old lettered saying of mine, a house divided against itself is, how does that go? Separated or something.
Well, I don't see why I ought not to help but win all that money, Lum.
Well, don't worry about the money, Abner. After I win, I'll divide up with you. You'll get your share all right.
I will, huh?
Well, sure.
Well, I don't know. I'd still like to be knowed as a winner, though. It'd just tickle little Pearl half to death if her papa was to be knowed as a
Wait a minute.
Huh?
Look out there. Diogenes is getting out of that truck that just drove up. Granny's his printing press must have got here.
I'd even got my name in a weekly paper. Honest Ab Peabody.
Stop mumbling, Abner. Can't you see Diogenes is coming in there?
I can see him all right.
Well, pay more attention. Don't forget now. You got to help me bring up the subject of these pamphlets I've read. Him who is honest will triumph, and all that.
Bring up a subject?
Why, of course. I can't just come right out flat-footed and tell him I'm going to be his helper. I have to work up to it sort of indirect, gradual.
Yeah. All right. Who's that foreigner? Oh, Cedric.
Yeah.
Look at him. Carrying a lantern just like Diogenes is doing. Plumb disgusting.
Yeah, of course it is. Mine out, here they come.
Yeah.
Yeah, wonderful world, Diogenes.
Wonderful world, my friends.
Wonderful world.
Well, I see your printing press has got here, Diogenes.
Yes, the press. the mighty, vibrant voice of honesty. Now I shall be able to continue my work, to send my golden words into darkened corners, to send them rushing, gushing forth in a mad, triumphant torrent until the whole world is... Do you know what?
No, what?
I don't believe your front door is wide enough for the printing press to go through.
No, the printing press is just too wide for the door. I was going to suggest, Diogenes, you just have that truck drive around to the back and unload the press right direct into the feed room. There's a big door back there.
Excellent thought, my friend. A sublime thought fashioned of pure logic. Cedric.
Yes, Mom?
A wonderful world, Cedric. Would you, my faithful bearer of the lantern, go with the truckmen, instruct them to unload the press at the rear of the building?
Yes, Mom. Wonderful world.
Yes, wonderful world, Cedric.
Diogenes, I was just thinking, I imagine you get sort of wore out writing all them pamphlets all day long.
Oh, never, my friend, never. I cherish every moment of my industry. I love every comma I invest in those pamphlets, every word, every phrase, every subjunctive clause.
Well?
No, never shall I wear out at that task, until the last drop of my lifeblood has flown away. For you see, my friends, it is my lifeblood that I pour into the wheels and cogs of my printing press.
Is that how you get them red letters in your pamphlet?
Abner, hush up, for goodness sake. I was just thinking, Diogenes, it might be a good idea if you had somebody like, say, a helper.
Yes, a helper. I had a helper once. He volunteered his services. He assisted in composing the text of the pamphlets. He took his turn at operating the press.
Yeah, that's more sort of what I had in mind.
Yes, and never, mark you, have I encountered a more despicable man.
Huh?
Oh, such deceit, such perfidy. His service, my friends, his service was merely a wedge to gain my confidence and seize my wealth.
Well, I do.
Oh, yes. All virtue had flown from his treacherous frame and left him the epitome of greed and avarice.
I wish I could follow him.
Oh, how could I ever hope for a wonderful world?
Wonderful world.
With a man like him around. Oh, never. It could never be. Do you like to play marbles?
Marbles?
Well, I ain't played for a long time, but I believe I got some over to play.
Hush, let us not speak of marbles.
No.
Playing marbles for keeps started this man on his wicked, wayward path. Oh, no, my friends. Never again shall I trust a man who offers to help me in my glorious pamphlet work.
Yeah, well, Lom has already did some...
Why did you ask me this, Mr. Edwards? Do you know of someone who wishes to offer such services?
No, I don't know nobody in particular that wants to. I just...
Well, Lom, you said you set up
For
last
goodness
night.
sakes, Abner, keep quiet.
If you know of such a one, my friend, let us not hold back. I need such information for my records.
Well, I'm sorry, but I don't know of no such a one right now.
Why, Lom,
what are those papers you have in your hand, Mr. Edwards?
Huh? Oh, paper. Oh, these. Why,
right there, Lom. Them you got right
Why,
there.
just, grocery orders and bills and let's see what... Yeah, grocery orders.
Is all them grocery orders? Doggies, have you been out working a trade this morning, Lom, trying to get some business for the store here?
Yeah, I must have.
Well, I do know. Well, I sat here and looked at that big stack of papers you had there. I thought all the time that you said them was pamphlets.
Abner, I never writ no pamphlets in all my whole life, and you know it.
Well, what about that stuff you was talking about a while ago, that, what was it you said there, Lom?
I never said nothing.
Yes, you did. That you was telling me that, him who is honest will triumph.
What was that? Repeat that, Mr. Peabody, please.
Abner.
Him who is honest will triumph.
Oh, what a gem, what a pearl. What clarity and power and simplicity. Yes. Perhaps I've been wrong. Perhaps I can use a helper.
Yeah, of course you can, Dodgeney.
Yes.
That's what I was going to say. Looks to me like you ought to have somebody help you.
Yes, I need a helper, perhaps. Needing new life, a new attitude, a new freshness to cloak my messages. Ah, yes, friends. I'm going to use a helper.
Well, good for you. Good for you.
Take up the pen and begin your task as soon as you can, Mr. Peabody.
Mr. Peabody?
Well, wait, Lom is the one that...
Hush, I know who is the one. I am a judge of men. Come, Mr. Peabody. Take up your pen. There is no time to lose.
Well, I'll be dead blamed.
What was that, Mr. Edwards?
Wonderful world.
Ah, yes, wonderful world.
Wonderful world.
Have you ever noticed, folks, how colds sneak up on us when they're the least expected and most unwelcome? Well, because colds usually do come on us without such warning, you should be prepared at all times to help yourself to prompt, pleasant relief for that dull, headachy, miserable feeling they often cause. And you will be prepared if yours is an Alka-Seltzer home. That very same package of Alka-Seltzer tablets you use for headaches and minor stomach discomforts also offers remarkable relief in the distress of cold symptoms. Now, the thing to do when a cold strikes is to take proper care of yourself, get more rest than usual, eat sensibly, dress warmly, and to ease that headachy, feverish feeling of the cold, take Alka-Seltzer according to the easy-to-follow directions on the package. Use Alka-Seltzer as a gargle, too, to comfort that sore throat due to your cold. 2 Alka-Seltzer tablets dissolved in a quarter glass of warm water makes a soothing, comforting gargle. So try it, friends. You'll never know how much better Alka-Seltzer can make you feel until you've tried it.
This Diogenes Smith character is something to be concerned about, I think. Lum and Abner, 82 years ago, February 12, 1942, here on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Visit our webpage, classicradio.stream. You can support the show there by buying something or buying me a copy. You can also find information about building a collection of your own, and you can find our social media links there as well. classicradio.stream. Tomorrow, Jack Benny, The Halls of Ivy, Abbott and Costello, Life with Luigi, and more in the Diogenes Smith story with Lum and Abner. Thanks for making us a part of your day here at Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox.